Islam,
Islam.
Mobite.
Islam. We here to. It's a reaction.
You know,
It's a duty we must do.
this is a duty. I want to establish. First, I'd like to get off into, the Constitution pertaining to the rights that we have, but I want to get off into the Constitution dealing with the supreme law of the land. And it might be surprising to some people, but when I get done, you have to be very incompetent to say otherwise. And I think, I know for a fact, not think, but I know for a fact that you agree with me. You are very aware of the Constitution. And what the Constitution that I'm speaking of is dealing with the supreme law of the land. What is going on here is that it was kind of disturbing to me because you sent me a video and it was some Moors on there. I'm familiar with Jamal from Rise of the Moors, but the other ones on there, I'm vaguely aware of them. I acknowledge them, but I'm vaguely aware of them. I thought it was in the captions. It had Kush Day in there, whatever, etc. But I didn't see his name up there unless he came in later.
Yeah, he did. He came in late.
Oh, okay. But like I said, I was on most of the video. I've seen most of the video. But I want to get off into, first, I want to establish the supreme law of the land. Okay. Go ahead, talk to me while I pull this supreme law of the land up.
Okay. I know for the most part, we need to inform the nation of the true source of some civics and history and gnosis that is pertinent to our restoring of the empire, our estates, etc. Another thing that really bothers us is that a lot of the so-called leaders or heads of whatever groups can assert the writs as being knowledgeable of the writs, but not knowledgeable of canon law, which is the source of the writs, the only source of the writs. You have to basically know a writ, at least the title of a writ, in order to search it. Other than that, the procedures and how to issue it is not laid out. It's not cut and so a lot of people who assert the writ of habeas corpus, and it fails. They're not in a proper status, first and foremost. I know for a fact that just the mention of the writs will turn dishonor into at least something you could agree with because they still belligerent regardless. Just got to know how to really make a move. And stepping foot in the courtroom is not the way, because they will change jurisdictions, switch jurisdictions at the recess if you show any type of competency. And for that female that was on that video claiming everything she does is for her people that look like her, that is like the ultimate demonstration of perfidy. What's good?
What you just said. Excuse me. What you just said. I like to first. I want to disqualify. Was you aware of her name?
Natalie something.
Okay. First of all, I want to disqualify. I want to disqualify her.
Let me, so we can address the subject as the subject, because she can't deny that she's a subject. She blatantly admitted it. I know it's Natalie. It's Natalie something, and she's a defense attorney, or so she's not a defense attorney, but she claims to be a defense attorney.
Yeah, I was listening to her, and if I wasn't advanced, I still know that what she was talking about is really was sickening to me. I mean, she tried to debunk with what Jabbar was saying, but
right.
it goes farther and deeper than that, to where they was talking about the Democratic Party, democracy, and things of that nature. And like I said, the supreme law of the land, I want to get to that real quick about the supreme law of the land. Okay. First of all, I like to establish that we, as a people over here, we have a charter that's set up. Our ancestors created a charter, and we have a treaty. Now, that treaty, an agreement, whatever our ancestors set up, did for us, because for some reason they knew that their grandchildren and so on and so forth was not going to be competent. So they set something up with who would be Moors over there, the Vatican. And under the Constitution, it states that the Constitution and laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuant thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land. And it goes on to say, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby anything in the Constitution or laws of any, etc. Now, the reason why I'm speaking of this is because I want to make it clear that there is a treaty that is the supreme law of the land. That treaty is known as the covenant. That covenant is or can be found in oneheaven.org. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I'm hold on once. Yeah, I got the actual, I'm scrolling up right now. I have the positive laws up so that they can see one of the books of the Canon Laws, which are 22, and this is one, which is the positive laws of law, and this here is the actual covenant. And it's also an American Union charter, but the covenant, it establishes its authority. And it's best to first delve into the actual covenant to understand its authority before actually, well, I wouldn't try to limit anybody on their studies, but it would be best to really study the Pactum Distinguished Calum, and the American Union's Charter. Now, a lot of this information has been tampered with, is being suppressed and concealed. So out of 22 of the actual books, only 7 of them are available. That has to let you know that the information is pertinent and it's very vital. You know, the canons will discuss history along with law and civics, which all should be abreast.
Yeah, I'm going to chime in on that. You are right. Out of I have seen videos where other Moors have showed books and, you know, had demonstrated books. There's not a book out there. There's not one book out there that can come close to this covenant, which is part and parcel the supreme law of this land. And anyone who, with any type of competency, will understand that once they get a hold of this information, that they know that this is the supreme law of this land. First of all, I'd like to establish that under this covenant, these are the covenants that governs, which everybody or most of the competent ones know that about the foreigners that's over here, that's doing business on this land. They only doing business because our ancestors had agreed through the covenant and the treaty to allow them to come over here to represent us, the people. And up under which is that charter is the American Union. This is where the Union come in. The Union is America as its whole. We talk about South, North America, all the continent of America is what our ancestors established within that charter. So our ancestors created this charter and allowed for them to represent us. And this is the reason why they're over here, and they are trustees. And the so-called president to them they are with the executors to manage these trustees for whatever they, do based on over here on this land. Now, in that video when you watch it, they was talking about a right to travel and things like that, and I heard that so-called defense attorney, because she's not an attorney, because I guarantee you, if we pull her up, that she's a bar member, because none of them never used
She a guild. She a part of the guild.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, she's not violent whatsoever.
Nope.
Again, I like to establish that if we're gonna get deep off into the American Union, the Constitution for American Union, that Constitution, a lot of people got history kind of distorted, or they don't understand the real history because they only get the suppressed information and what they want to give them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking about the history, I'd like to. Can you do you have an auto law available?
Let me see. That was in. That should be in positive law.
That was pertaining to who we are. Because see, a lot of words. You have it?
Yeah. I have it pulled up. Article 239, Adult Law.
Yeah. That law, this Article 239. This is from the canons. And can you elaborate about, or can you just elaborate? Would you like to take the honors, or?
Yeah, as far as reading them?
Yeah.
The canons, or, okay.
Yeah.
Article 239, Adult Law, Canon 2871. Adult law is an ancient oral equality system of law and language emerging from the Mesolithic period, 25,000 to 9,500 BCE, around the regions of Mexico, Central Americas, and northern half of South America. Canon 2872. Adult law is named after the Adult indigenous of the Andes, in parentheses, Andes, mountains in northern half of South America, otherwise known as the Atlanteans, who believed their laws were passed down directly from flesh and blood higher order beings. Adult law evolved into the foundation of the laws of Mesoamerican civilizations, in parentheses, Olmec, Zapotecs, Aztec, and Maya. Andean civilizations, in parentheses, Inca, Mac or Moke, Chibcha, and Canaris, and the Great Plains civilizations of North America such as Wampum Law. Canon 2873. The Roman court is an impostor system founded by fraud in the 11th century with the finance from Venice, and never was the founders of the Catholic Church nor Christian faith. All law based on the Roman court, including feudal law, common law, civil law, and national law, is null and void from the beginning for all the lands and seas of North America, Central America, and South America. Canon 2874. As adult law was never legitimately replaced, nor the people of North America, Central America, or South America conquered within the physical realm, the law of the land has remained unbroken, the adult law of the indigenous nations. Canon 2875. As wampum law descends from adult law and incorporates the laws and knowledge of its common ancestry, the peoples of Central America and South America, wampum law remains the unbroken legitimate system of law of the land of North America.
Now, for y'all who just heard him read off from those canons, again, I'd like to establish that the canons is the laws that govern the foreigners. These laws right here is what you present to debunk or present for your defense or anything that you may have an issue with.
Remedy.
These laws right here cannot be disputed to basically debate. Someone can, I mean, you could try to debate it or try to, you know what I'm saying, disqualify it, but it'd be fraudulent. Matter of fact, it'd just be just treason, because now, you know what I'm saying, you're showing your true colors.
Abnitio.
Well, say it again.
I said abnitio from the beginning. If you try to misspell them, you know, you can't, none of that.
None of that. I know a lot of the language that you just heard, what he just read out of here in the Canon Law. Well, if you know how to research, and if you know your civics, and you know your history, this clearly goes back to the Articles of Confederation. And like it said that the law of the land has remained unbroken, the Canon Law of the indigenous nations. That is the Constitution that this is referring to. Also, it clearly said that the people, it says that under the law, it was never legitimately replaced. That's how we are able to use it to this day. And it goes back to the video that we was talking about where Jamal was talking about the Constitution, the organic Constitution. And the other brother Moore, who was speaking about, it was what he said, it was how many? It was 7 articles and I think 10
amendments.
Yeah. So what the amendments come in because of the Articles of Confederation that was added on. But all that about the 13th Amendment and the 14th Amendment, that is all a fraud that was to create the history based on the reconstruction of history. Because
right.
it's clearly in here that it was never conquered. And that's under 2874. The Canon Law was never legitimately replaced. Nor the people of North America, Central America, or South America are conquered.
Right.
Within their physical land. So therefore, right there, in that statement right there, within that paragraph under that canon, it clearly stated that the people was never conquered. So therefore, all the information that we was taught with slavery in school, from which right now to this day, from black history and so on and so forth, it's all a lie.
Alex Haley need to be tar and feathered if he alive, because they was teaching that in school, roots.
So, that being said, we was never conquered as a people. this was set up through our ancestors, which is a charter. That charter we were just speaking about, which is the American Union.
Mm-hmm.
Under the American Union, under that charter we were just speaking about. That is
Sacrorum de Congregatio America's Union. Let me pull up the table of contents.
Yeah, they have right here the Constitution of the American Union. So the Constitution, what we were just speaking about, is out of law, which goes back to the Articles of Confederation. And anyone who know their civics and history know about the Olmecs and the Mayans and them. Those are the Moors that at the end break out to where we understand about the 5 civilized tribes and so on and so forth.
Right.
So that being said, or what he just read out of the outer law, that goes back to, like I stated, it goes back to the current Constitution that we have of this land today, the organic Constitution, not no 14th Amendment that applies to the juridic person. We're talking about the Constitution, the organic Constitution. Okay? We was never conquered as a people. That's how we are able to do the things that we do to this day. But what I'd like to get at is this. Based on the supreme law of the land, which is the covenant that we've been speaking about, that I know a lot of people is not aware of. Because if y'all was aware of this covenant, then a lot of these arguments would not even exist. That video would have never took place. You understand what I'm saying? You wouldn't have incompetent lawyers, incompetent so-called lawyers trying to basically debunk the supreme law of the land.
Right.
You know, I like to bring up a good point here pertaining to our covenant. And I'm gonna tell you like this: first thing people will probably frown down on is because I'm saying that something coming from out of Rome, and I'm applying it as the supreme law of the land. Can I ask you? Do you agree that? Do you agree with me that? Would you say that this would be the supreme law of the land, part and parcel?
Part and parcel. I know it is. It is. I've studied it enough. I've asserted them enough to know that. I mean, it even states as soon as you cite canon law, it should be remedy. Of course, we still have to fight, but yes, I 100% agree, 1000% agree. It is the law of the land. It should nothing else really be taught right now. To nobody in the nation, nobody trying to wake up.
This is part and parcel the supreme law of the land. And this comes back to where they try to debunk the Moors of who we are. Now, he just read the outer law. The outer law was the canons that you would use to present to any of these department heads or so-called executors or administrators or what is
custodians.
The who?
The custodian.
Custodians. Yeah. But what I wanted to say was trustees, because Because see, this is the real part of who they are over here. And I'm gonna walk this down this rabbit hole. Okay. Now he just read the Canon Law, so if you research and you break it down and you do your civics and you study, then you find out that the Canon Law and the pertaining to everything that he had mentioned goes back to the Articles of Confederation, and that is a part of our Constitution. So, like I said, the people was never conquered. So that debunks all the fraud about, they came over here and, they took over Christopher Columbus, all that fraudulent misinformation, period. Okay? Now, under the covenant of one heaven. Oh, by the way, for y'all who not know one heaven, I know the first thing y'all start thinking about is the religion right off, thinking about the heaven and hell. But the one heaven is the Holy See. So, they're interchangeable. Okay? So this is the covenant of one heaven, but if you know the relationship between the U dot S dot and the relationship of the Holy See, the U dot S dot is the Holy See. Because without the Holy See, there would not be a U dot S dot. Okay? The U dot S dot was created from the Canon of Public Law. I'll get to that as soon as I break this down. Under the covenant of one heaven, procedures, Article 127, Globe Union. And this is 127.1, Globe Union. By the power and authority of this covenant, the covenant is a treaty. The Society of Globe Union is granted by the Sacred Covenant the right to represent the unions of free societies over the whole earth and sea. Okay? So therefore, the Society of Globe Union is granted by Sacred Covenant treaty the right to represent the unions of free societies over the whole earth and sea. So America is the union. Like, for instance, the dollar bill, it shows the pyramid, and then on the other side, a lot of people, and I have seen whether it's Mason books and things like that, where misinformation that they try to state that the eagle was a sign for the Abians, right?
Mm-hmm.
No. That flag belonged to us. That is the Americans. That's why you have a picture, and probably several more, that where it's a picture where Noble Ali had the Moroccan flag for Morocco over here, and the American flag.
Mm-hmm.
Because both of the flags belong to us.
And
it was never.
And he supposedly I got the land patent, correct? I haven't seen it, but the land patent for America at a summit, some summit, I think in the 20s, 1920s.
You know what? It's like if we had a charter and things like that, you got to think about it. If we had a charter and things like that, some of them stores got to be kind of like yield. You know what I'm saying? Because
like certain citizens and all of that.
Oh no. See what I'm saying? That's why it's a conflict now, because that sovereign citizen bull crap. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even in the canons even have where it talks about citizens and how it was debated about calling us citizens and things like that. You know what I mean? This is how much information that the canons have for you.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you have any problem or issue with any trustee, so-called a congressman or anything like that, that's when you present the canons to them, and then you demand whatever it is that you are seeking. It's not for no debate.
No debate.
Because now you going against the very laws that govern you and make and break you. So we're not gonna go off of your creative statute that you might have created or your ordinance that you might have created for the U.S. within the public realm. And like I said, I'll get back to the public in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I say I have their jurisdiction up. Jurisdiction of law, Article 283. Jurisdiction.
Oh, okay.
For
311. I'm gonna read this real quick and then let you get to the jurisdiction.
Okay. All right.
On the Articles 127, Globe Union. By the power and authority of this covenant, the Society of Globe Unions granted the sacred covenant the right to represent the unions of free societies over the whole earth and sea. Okay? The sacred covenant of the Globe Union is also known as Carta Scurium dis Concurius Globis. That's Latin. You know what I'm saying? I pronounce it the best way I can pronounce it.
It's all new.
Shall be regarded as it says it shall be regarded as a supremely sacred and valuable object to be held with great veneration by the authority of the sacred charter of the Globe Union. The charter. I'd like for y'all to please look up charter to get an understanding what a charter is. Matter of fact,
I can probably, let me see.
Yeah, yeah. Cause before I go further, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanna break this down for those who have some kind of comprehension, can pull this in to get an understanding. The reason why because we was supposed to have been and done this.
Yeah. I mean, and we have though. Can't nobody say we haven't.
Oh no, we have. I don't get it twisted. As far as y'all listening, we have. But that video just like had my blood boiling because it was like they stuck. You know what I mean? You ever rode and you seen like look over in the water. Like what you call like a lake. You see a log that's just going back in circles in the water, like they're going nowhere, just flipping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wrestling with a corpse.
They stuck in the same place. They don't. You know what I mean? They still on debating about a right to travel and things like that, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean?
That don't, man. Just like I was saying with the one homie who having the issue, and I heard putting up my house, like, man, that ain't even in nowhere. They can't even me like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going for it. I got here go charter. Okay. Article 118, Carta or Charter, Canon 6359. A Carta, in parentheses, Charter or Charter, is a form of convenia, in parentheses, covenant or venia, first issued as sovereign grants. Under the Carolingians from the 8th century CE onwards, that combines some form of map, survey, or inventory granted as part of the convenia or covenant. The word carta or chart Latin means map of inventory, in parentheses list. Canon 6360. Since its invention in the 8th century CE, all valid carta or charters have been required to possess 7 essential elements: incipio, oratio, prayer; exhortio, introduction; conditio, conditions; decretio, decree; absenio, and insenio; and testificio, or I hope I'm saying that right, in parentheses, or in layman's term, attestation. 1. Incipio is the beginning at the very top of the instrument, usually is majuscule, capitals, being de gratia rex Romanorum, meaning by the grace of God, King of the Romans. 2. Oratio, prayer, as the opening words before any actual gift, grant, or permission, was usually customized and intertwined in the exhortio, the introduction. And 3. Exhortio, the introduction, being the introductory sentence or words indicating a summary of the grant or conveyance, or simply a grant is made. And 4. Conditio, conditions, being the listing of any conditions by Roman numeral, if any, to the grant or conveyance outlined by the first three elements. And 5, decretio, decree, being the decree that the instrument had been delivered to become public notice, also known as patenting, being in culis re testimonium, has literis nostris feri fessimus patentis, meaning in witness of what we have caused these our letters to be made patents. And 6, absenio, or the sovereign authorizing the instrument, being the sign or official seal. And 7, insignio, of the sovereign, also known as the signity records, being usually a wax seal of their distinct mark, seal, badge, decoration, or name, connected by red or gold cord to the linen. And 8, testificatio, attestation, being the testification of the maker that it is their wishes reflected in the covenant, being testi me ipso apud. Then date in Latin, meaning witness myself at the place. Date. Canon 6361. All right, stop there.
Yeah. Like the last three you read will be more in the realm of what the charter based on. So like sometimes when they go like that, for y'all who listening, you take and you say, for instance, you say you put charter and you say definition. Then sometimes you don't have a book on hand, like a dictionary or somewhat, then you would take and do charter, and then you'll put legal definition. A lot of times people like to file down on Google and things like that. But Google gives you references, and I ain't talking about Wikipedia, because a lot of times Wikipedia gives you some information that take you where you need to go. But Google is taking a lot of its content and getting it from books that people do read. You see what I'm saying? Without Google, we wouldn't be where we at now. You know what I'm saying? No. You know what I mean? because you ain't gonna go up at, you know what I'm saying, at Barnes and Noble, most likely, and find this information.
No, you're not.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about,
No,
you know what I mean? I'm talking about just a click, a couple clicks, and some finger to an equipment. But the charter is a legal document. The fund establishes a corporate entity. A charter are issued by national or provincial governments. Let me see. Charter means you rent, lease, a particular service or object. Charter comes from the Latin cartel, meaning paper, card, or map. As a noun, charter refers to a written document outlining or mapping the rights and obligations of a company or organization, or even, a town, an entire colony. So, getting back to that, where we were just at, the charter. Okay, I just wanted to try to define the charter to y'all to bring y'all in to give you more stability of what this covenant really means. And this is how the charter, as far as the union, and the reason why they over here. So up under this Globe Union, as I was reading before we got off of that, and we only did that so that for y'all who is listening, who's not aware, can understand what a charter and things is. Because I know a lot of times people don't be knowing a lot of these words and stuff. You know, I have basically fell out with my people because I was trying to give them some information, and you know, it's like, oh, you're not smarter than me type attitude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just only trying to get some information that I know that would be, good for their own well-being. But by the authority of the sacred charter of the Globe Union, what is agreed by the United Unions of Free Societies of Earth shall be the highest status of law, besides the canons of divine law known as Austrium, Luris Divini Canium. Now, what this is saying is that the United Unions of Free Society, that goes back to what our whole argument is about us being who we are as Moors. This goes back to that video that I was listening to earlier, where that fake lawyer was sitting up there trying to basically supersede the organic constitution with statutes and ordinances and codes. Okay, so as a free society, under the Union of the Free Societies, they don't have a right to regulate our right to travel. I don't care what we are in. You know what I'm saying? What conveyance we are in. It could be a boat, it could be a ship, or whatever. They don't have a right to tell the people of the free society. This goes back to the Canon Law that he was just reading about 10 minutes ago, where it stated that we was never conquered and that the law still stands to this day. That law goes back to the original Constitution, which that Constitution mentions the treaties being the supreme law of the land. And like we said, and we agree that this treaty is part and parcel the supreme law of the land. As I'm reading right here, under the Globe Union, is reflecting or referring back to us as a people, the Moors, and whatever tribe that you will fall up under. So therefore, up under this, unions of free societies, just talking about us. We are under the Union of the Free Society. And therefore, no other body representing the colleague of free societies may claim higher jurisdiction than the Globe Union. So therefore, under the Globe Union, that means that that so-called judge, well, she could pretend as a judge, because most lawyers, fake lawyers, be sitting on the bench and they are members as a bar association, and they're sitting as a judge too, which they're not supposed to do. So you got to excuse me. What I want to say, what I'm saying is that she really tried to argue with Jamal for Rise of the Moors about statutes and ordinances and talking about that, you know, as we the people up under our free society don't have a right to travel. Well,
Right.
she got it all wrong, because this is, like I stated, under the Globe Union. This is up under the covenant, which is part and parcel the treaty, the supreme law of our land. There's nothing wrong in here that affects us in any way. In fact, it's telling us that we, up under this free society, the Globe Union, is more in our favor than not. So it even goes on to say that grants and presents of the Globe Union, be it known to all those future and present that we, the trustees of the one heaven, that I want to state this again, because people might know it better when I say it like this, because I know, like I say, they're interchangeable, the names. Be it known to all those future and present that we, the trustees of the Holy See. Now, you can Google the Holy See right now, where it's U.S. Relations with the Holy See. The Holy See is one heaven. So, the trustees of one heaven with full authority and supreme sacred rights granted by the divine creator. Okay? United heaven and hell, all lesser deities, all angels, all demons, and all higher order spirits hereby give, grants, and conveys these presents to the Globe Union, free society over the whole land and sea. Okay? Now, I don't know if y'all might understand that, but what's just happening is that everything was granted to the free society over the whole earth and sea. And if y'all are Moors who is aware, where Noble Ali has stated how we came here from, Egypt, and that the lands belong to us, and a lot of the Moors know that the lands and everything belong to us, right? So this is what the Globe Union is saying. Well, it's not saying, it's stating. You got to excuse me. The use of the whole planet Earth, from its core to the outer atmosphere, including all property attached to the Earth. Now, I don't know, a lot of Moors might not be aware, but recently, can you pronounce her name? Because I always get it kind of messed up.
Light.
You know, I'm
talking about Light.
Yeah. Yes.
Light to Jury Bay.
Yes. Okay. She recently went and basically took claim to a building. She had a right to take claim to the building because, first of all, the building is abandoned. And once you understand the canons and you do your civics and your history, you will know what is allowed and what is not allowed. But there's nothing in the canons that actually really that we have to even push to the side or say that it's really affecting us in any bad way. Can you agree with me, Brother Moore?
I agree. No, in no way. No way. The divine statements all through it as being, the supreme as far as one living being who can assert these, can't use them. A juridic person can't assert them. A certain juridic person, but only Homo sapiens. If I'm correct.
What I was getting at is that when she went and she took and did that with that abandoned building, she had a right to do that. Because first of all, she is a member of the Free Society. Okay? This go back to when he read the Canon Law about 15 minutes ago. Under the Free Society, based on the Globe Union, and I'm about to go over it again. When she went and she purchased that, when she took it and occupied that building, that abandoned building, she had a right to. She just didn't have the right language in there. If she had the civics of this covenant in her paperwork, she would have took the legs from up under them Abians.
Right,
See,
they wouldn't have been able to say nothing.
She's only coming in with the Morris literature and argument, but she's not really backing it up with the force of this covenant. See what I'm saying? Because this covenant governs every last one of them foreigners. And see, if they go past this covenant, now they're in high treason. See what I'm saying? Now you have something to really cut their necks off, cut their head off. Literally cut their head off as far as with, they say the pen is mightier than a sword. They don't have no leg to stand on for them to go past this Globe Union. This cuts off all the argument and everything. There's nothing to talk about. See what I'm saying? So, under here where I was just reading, it says that the use of the whole planet Earth from its core to its outer atmosphere, including all property attached to the Earth. Was that building attached to the Earth? Furthermore.
Oh yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm saying, was that building attached to the Earth?
Yes, it is.
Okay, but this is what it is stated in the Globe Union. That's why what they doing is fraud. What they doing is fraud and treason, and we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. We gonna break this up, and we gonna stretch it out, and we gonna kill all this.
Right.
It's stated that it says all property attached to the earth, but excluding Homo sapiens and other equally high order life forms. Okay? Free from any encumbrances, liens, fees, charges. Alright? Now, if y'all might be familiar, when the Pope came in office, when Obama was in office, and he was the only one who could issue out those 3 general civil orders. Out of one of those general civil orders, me and my brother Moore on here now, we gravitated to that specific general civil orders. Now, I don't know how many of y'all might be aware of y'all authority as a Moor. Under the Republic form of government, you have the authority to self-govern. You are sovereign. Okay? And as a sovereign, there's no body over you or to have any type of authority that to supersede what you're allowed to do within your own realm. So what we did, we had authority to revise, amend the general civil orders for some of the content that was in there that needed to be corrected. So we took and did it, and it was issued out back to the department heads that, will be responsible for the actions that they take, so-called trustees. Well, I'm gonna give them say the trustees because there's a charter. Our ancestors set it up to where they will be trustees. Okay. Now, whatever other title they take on, they still trustees. All right. And then the executive will be the president. All right. But they only limited in what they are allowed to do. They only limited to for what they're allowed to do. And I'm gonna get off into that, but I'm breaking this down for a lot of people who might understand what the globe union really means. Okay, this globe union is connected to us, for us within our land. All right, this is talking about the free societies, which we are the people within a society that is free, meaning that we are not supposed to be under no type of restrictions on our right to travel. I don't care what we are in, automobile or whatever, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? We can have that right to travel, whatever that is connected to me at my time and my use. So this is up under the globe union of a free society, clearly. So what that so-called lawyer was talking about, you know what I'm saying? She's supposed to be removed immediately because she's a threat to society. Okay? And I ain't got into where she ain't even supposed to be there at all yet.
That's what I was about to say. That alludes back to general civil orders.
Yes. Speaking about the general civil orders, I'm sorry because I got off the topic of the general civil orders after I brought it up. But the Pope had put in the general civil orders that he mentioned that but what I didn't like, and I amended, and you too, but I specifically put in there non-nationals. What is it? Non-national citizens. It said we are
nationals.
Non-citizen nationals. Excuse me. Non-citizen nationals. I corrected that because it was in there about citizens. Because if you go back and you look up the general civil orders, and those who might be aware of it, it stated about how the difference between the organic states and he had in there when he was mentioning about U.S. he had in there minor, and then when he was mentioning about us, he was saying major, but he was using it by state and organic states and things like that. But when he was talking about the people within the organic states, he was referring to as citizens. I didn't like that because, that citizen has come back to really be like a fly or a flea, a pain in the ass, because them, what you call corrupt trustees have used the term citizen to basically try to define who we are as a people, which is defamation of character. That's what it is. It's flat out defamation of character because, they start calling us our citizens. First of all, if we have a republic form of government, or we are entitled to a republic form of government, you can self-govern if you are competent enough to do that. But that means that under the republic form, republic is sovereignty. So therefore, if anyone know their real true civics and things, you know that we are sovereign over here. This is basically what the globe union is actually saying. This is coming out of the horse's mouth. This is the charter. This is not corrupted or anything. This is from the charter for the Americas as a whole. Our Constitution just don't apply to the 50-something states. Okay, that the so-called what you call it, U.S. They had the 50-something states or whatever not, but it's bigger than just the 50-something states. So our Constitution is where he was reading out of the Canon Law that he read about 20 minutes ago. All right, that goes back to the original Constitution. Now, in here, it says that, and I want to just do it all over again because I'm stopping and trying to break it down, because a lot of people who are listening to this, can catch on to what I'm actually saying instead of going with the flow. If you agree with me, Mobite?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm all with you, man. Mobite.
The use of the whole planet Earth from its core to its outer atmosphere, including all property attached to the Earth. but excluding Homo sapiens and other equally higher order life forms. That means no slavery. That means no one can, on this earth take another Homo sapien or whatever higher life forms. I would consider myself in a higher life form. No disrespect to anyone else, because the way our ancestors put it down, to where that's why we have the title of nobility with our appellation, to say El, Bay, in that sense. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, and it says that we are free from any encumbrances, liens, and fees and charges. And this one goes back to the post-general civil orders, was because he stated that we was never supposed to be up under the condition that we are up under, which is the estates, and it's known as the QV trust, okay, better known as the birth certificate. This is what is one of the main documents that is being used, to where that so-called lawyer from that video is what they be using to try to restrict the real Homo sapien, Moorish American. That's what they use it to restrict us of our liberties, our right to travel. Okay? Because that subscription via trust is a document that has a name on there that's similar to it's basically the same, but the only thing difference is that it's in all caps. To put it in the realm, if you know the difference between the lowercase spelling and uppercase spelling, I'm not gonna get all off of that right now, but you got to know the difference between that. Can you, if you don't mind, what is that where it's in the lowercase? What is it? Because you know how to pronounce.
Capitis diminutio nolo, I believe.
Okay.
Then you got capitis diminutio maxima, and then capitis diminutio minima.
Okay. So the maximum, the capitis, what you just said, maximum, that's the one is what they put in your birth certificate. That's the one where if you read it, if you pull it up, it states, it takes you out of who you are within your sovereignty capacity and make you more as what you would consider a slave in the all caps. So in your birth certificate, everyone who has a birth certificate, if you look at your birth certificate, it's in all caps. And in all caps, it has would be similar to your name that was given to you by, your mom or whatever, or whoever named you at the time that you, it was presented to the corporation, and they caught itself doing what they did. We get to that, but I just want to just bring that to your attention right now. So what the Pope said, it was fraud and deceit, and we was never supposed to be up under that. We was never supposed to be up under the birth certificate scheme, period. And so I went in there and I amended some things because, like I said, I took and made it clear that we was non-citizen nationals, and that when he ended it, when it came up to 3 pages, he said African American. Well, first of all, we're not African American. So I had to correct that and let it be known that we were Moors, and that it was a misnomer with African American and black. So I made that clear within the General Civil Orders, and I presented it, reissued it back to them. You know what I mean? And I've been using it when I was still crawling a little bit, because you got to crawl before you walk. And I was going through my histories and my studies and my civics and things. When I was going back before the commercial courts on the alternative society, I presented those canons back to them. I mean, not the canons, I'm sorry, the General Civil Orders back to them, and within my argument. And, they was collapsing. But they so corrupt, they'll try to save face even though they dead wrong, and they be, but that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with some corrupt, like I'm talking about, it's sickening.
Right.
What you call it?
They rogue.
Oh. They rogue. It's like it makes you want to throw up. How, like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody really, like, it's an insult. It's like somebody coming in your house. You in the house, you in there chilling, watching TV, and somebody just walking in your house and shit. You ain't never seen them in your life, and they just walk in your house and they looking at you like they belong there, and they just come in there and it's like you kind of startle,
right.
like what the? And they just come in and just like, you know, like they lay there and just come and sit down and yeah, or walk in the kitchen and just go to your refrigerator, like that's. I mean, come on now. Can you feel me? Like that's the total disrespect, and that's how they do. Especially when you really woke and you know what's really going on, and that's why I said that video when I heard, and then I'm looking at her, and I ain't trying to play the color, but I'm looking at her like you know. I mean, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, man.
I feel you, because I watched it, and I was, if you look at the video, you see how much I was commenting, man. I'm like, man, how did I miss this? I wish I could have been on here on the phone call. Like, you need to just shut it down right now. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, because you are not a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Shut it down. Your argument is moot, flat out. You ain't got nothing to say. And whoever's standing in front of you helping you out need to be on camera so we can crush them too.
Man. So, back to this right here, where it states that in the Globe Union that, you know, we are free from any encumbrance, liens, fees, or charges, on the condition that the trustees of the Globe Union shall protect the earth, heal the earth, and ensure the best possible sustainable living conditions for all life and you know, in the ecosystems, and the use of the sacred divine canons of laws, also known as Luris Divini Catecharium, including the Euclidean codes of law, Euclidean patents, and the Euclidean models, Euclidean language, knowledge systems for the creation, function, and administration of unions of free societies and the free societies themselves. Well, see, what I just said to y'all will have to do your studies and things to understand the last part I just read to you. And under this Globe Union, it has this, you know, the trust and personality. It has this, you have to understand this as a whole. But I was just letting y'all know that we have, from the same foreigners that has people violating us, it's not so much that it's them per se that where the document was, you know, issued to. Everybody worked somewhere at one time, most likely, and when you work for a company or something like that, how many times somebody bent the rules when they work somewhere, right? Think about it. You don't catch somebody sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna have a time clock still kicking, but they might leave and come back. You know what I'm saying?
Burger King. This is just a funny point. I worked at Burger King. I knew how they cooked their food. I used to make sure I cooked all my stuff in the fry grease. You know what I'm saying? Instead of that stuff, cook the pork, the chicken, the fish, everything in.
You know what I'm saying? So you knew what you were supposed to do, but you did the opposite.
Right.
So what I'm getting at is that the Avians working for the Holy See, they're supposed to be trustees or whatever, but they're not doing what they're supposed to do, because there's a sinister organization that basically pulled them in and had them to be corrupt, or from them looking at a lot of things and getting the understanding that they feel they can get away with the things that they do to the people. over here because, you know what I'm saying, it's human trafficking and things going on with that. That Circuit QV trust that I was speaking about is known as a birth certificate. So you have people like, well, they talk about, as a matter of fact, the canons talk about people like her. They say, and I'm going to get to that, but right now I just want to just, you know, break off this globe union to you to let you know that we have something which I said is part and parcel, which is under the canons, part and parcel, which is the covenant, I mean, we can use to basically kill them at any given time. And if July Bay would have had this in her document, there would not be a land for them to stand on. But you also got to know that you cannot deal with them in their courts. First of all, you got to make sure that you take care of that subscription via trust. You got to eliminate that first. So, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't by what is it? What is that called? Terminating all contracts, corporate contracts. That's not the appropriate vehicle. See what I'm saying? Because first of all, a trust and a contract is two different elements. You know what I'm saying? A subject matter. You know what I mean? Hello? Hello? What about?
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
I'm still here. I was laughing how you said. I was laughing because you said it's not the appropriate. You say, but it's not, man. It's not. You know, termination of contracts. You know, it's not. It ain't no remedy there.
Ain't no remedy there.
Trying to terminate a driver's license or insurance policy. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't no remedy there. You know,
still being raped.
A lot of people, you know, who's not aware, and sometimes you follow people, and it's not right. And I'm not being funny trying to bash nobody. I just know, you know what I'm saying. I do this. I don't care. Can't no one, and it's not for no arrogance or anything. Can no one get on here and basically say anything to me about nothing? You know what I'm saying? Because half these people that I still see, they are stuck, like I said earlier, you know, that law just going in circles. You know what I mean? You ain't went no further. You still stuck in the same thing. Like that right to travel should have been killed a long time ago. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if you knew the civics of this covenant and you knew the civics of these canons, you would have been and cut them off. Matter of fact, you would have disqualified her off the rip, because I guarantee you she's a bar member. I guarantee you she's a bar member. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But this Globe Union is, like I said, part and parcel to who we are, and as far as, you know, helping us out on the free societies. Do you have mobile? See, it talks about the alternative society and the society, because see, it's two societies. The alternative society is for the Abians, basically where they're supposed to be trustees. And I'm gonna tell you what they did on some fraudulent shit. What they did under these Globe Unions, it is the procedures of what they're supposed to follow. And I'm going to tell you what they did. They came up with a scheme for the indigenous people of this land. And what name could I give it to what they did? They assert, but how can I say? Well, they basically gave another misnomer, but they recognized this misnomer because, see,
right.
This is how they get jurisdiction. They start calling the Moors Indians. Okay? They start calling the Moors Indians. And by them doing that, it gave them jurisdiction over the name Indian. That's why you have anybody that's coming up claiming to be an Indian. But really, the resources and things that's pertaining to us, that belong to us, that our ancestors gave to the who will be over there up under Rome, who would be the Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
They put them in charge to run our affairs based on the currency and everything. That's why on the dollar bill you see our pyramid and you see the eagle. That's because that is a representation for us, the Moors. Who built the pyramids? The Moors. Okay. Like I said, a lot of people don't know that eagle and that flag belong to us because it's dealing with the Union, which is the land of the Americas belongs to us. So what they did, they created the term Indian to substitute for the Moors. What is they call the Lenape Moors?
Yeah,
What are they call them? The Lenape. Did you get that? Did you get that material I sent you yesterday?
Oh, you with the site and stuff?
With the where it had up under there that the Lenape Moors, they was called Moors, and now they called Lenape Indians.
Indians, yeah.
That was okay. They got a whole write-up, which is in Delaware. It's under the legislation. It's up under their legislation. So what I'm getting at is that when they talk about natives and they talk about Indians, in order for them to get out of what they're supposed to do under the Globe Union, they modified they changed the identity of who they're supposed to represent and start calling us Indians. But we're not Indians. So they say the U.S. recognized the Indians. That's fraud. Right. That's treason. That's defamation of character. Because what y'all did, y'all called us Indians in order to try to claim jurisdiction over us. But you cannot find near Indian that has a nationality.
Right.
Because Indian is a made up name, which Indian falls up under the Civil Rights Act.
Right.
Civil rights and human rights is two different elements. The trustees, just like I read from the Globe Union, is to represent the Homo sapien, the human. The Homo sapien, the human. Not no juridic person, not no civil rights juridic person. So when they created the Indian, they created it out of fraud in order for them to try to make claims. And they say they only recognize the Indian. But the Indian is really derived from the Moor. But it's a misnomer. And that can be corrected. That can be corrected. Because what they're doing, they're controlling our treasury. And they are giving our resources to which we are known as $5 Indians and stuff like that really belong to the Moors. So you taking some shit that belong to me, and then you're going to regulate, and then you're going to say that you got jurisdiction when the whole time you don't have jurisdiction. This is the reason why they changed the name and start calling them Indians, because they can surround all types of statutes and codes and stuff around this Indian character that they created. But really, they created that name from but Moors. See, and when you can say they can call them Indians, it's just like if you call someone black. The only thing difference is that they start pushing us away from being known as the Indian and start calling us black, African American, and Negro. So now, what little bit that we might have had as being called an Indian because they call themselves restricting this and basically saying that they got control and putting people on little reservations and things like that. They basically just said, as black and African American and Negro, they ain't got nothing coming. They just civilly dead. See what I'm saying? So if you think you a little bit, well, somebody might gravitate and say, well, I'm an Indian. And they might, you know what I mean? Okay, how the fuck is an Indian going to have tax exemption? This is for a juridic person that they created. If you put it up, they say Indian is tax exempt. That tax exempt is really for the Moor.
Right.
Now, I have the material to bump anybody to show it. Now, I just read the Globe Union. I just read from the canons. You read from the canons of the Our Law. And if you do your studies and everything, the Our Law will walk you down that path, the golden yellow brick road, and it'll walk you straight to the organic constitution, and it'll walk you to the people from the Olmecs to the Mayans. You know what I'm saying? That's our people, who we are to this day. Okay? Now, Moors was worldwide, from Ireland, Germany, to all the way to the islands, because that was basically to identify us as far as what people call today, from ignorance, saying black or African American. We was addressed as Moors, but it was different tribes.
Yeah.
Under as a Moor. Okay, so at the end of the day, you know, because I'm a Moor over here, there's a Moor over in Germany. That's how we identified us as far as our skin color. All right. Now, the whole thing, getting back overall, dealing with the covenant breaks down everything that you need to know about civics and history. You know what? It's like somebody giving up a diary. It's like somebody having a diary. What is it? What's the? I have to say a diary.
A journal.
What is the other thing that you can have?
A journal. A journal.
A
like
journal.
a journal.
Yeah. It gives up civics and history.
Right.
And it tells you the do's and the don'ts. Okay? Let me give you okay, now for like I said, under the Union of Free Society, y'all, we have a Globe Union. All right? And I want to bring this out too. We have this is for us, and this is what they're doing. If you pull up right now, you can pull up, I think it's 25 USC 1200, and you will see that. You got that up?
25 USC. What's the what'd you say? 25 USC
1200.
All right, American Indian Trust Fund. Management Refund Act.
Now, under this American Indian Trust Fund, it states, you go in and they got sub part A, sub part B, sub part C, sub part D, and it goes on and it goes on, right? And then they got where the authority is coming from, or whatnot. All right.
Trustees.
If y'all remember, almost 25 minutes ago, Brother Moore read the what was the law that you read from?
Adder law?
The law, yeah, the Adder law. And from that Adder law, that's the law that breaks down to where it tells you that we was never conquered. This is coming from the canons. We was never conquered, and that the law to this day still stands. That's why the Constitution, the organic Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and that part dealing with the covenant, dealing with the treaties, is the supreme law of the land. And the reason why I embrace the covenant that we reading from, I'm reading from now, dealing with the Globe Union and stuff like this, and I just want to walk y'all down. Well, we don't say Indian in our writings dealing with us as a Moor because we know that we're not Indians. But what they did, they are taken from us, and we're from the free society for who we are as Moors, and they call themselves the term Indian so that they can have jurisdiction over the Indian. And you can look at any books. If you look up any what is it? I think it's 28 USC 3002, where it gives you the definition, and it's other definitions, and it always come back to where they always saying that they have jurisdiction over the Indian. You know what I'm saying? Or because the Indian was created, which is fraud. So what they did, they tried to bypass the Globe Union, and they tried to bypass the free society. So they created the Indian so that they can have jurisdiction. But really, if you know who you are and you claim to be an Indian, but you really don't know who you are if you claim to be an Indian, but if you just, slightly, because when I was growing up, I had people say, like even my own mom would say that my grandmother, we sit on the porch, her dad's mom or whatever, and she had, her long, good hair or whatever, however, and that she was Indian, something. But that was just because of the ignorance, right?
Right.
She wasn't no ignorant Indian. She was just a Moor. She was a Moor. But because of what these foreigners did, they changed the identity of the Moor in order to take and have jurisdiction over that Moor. So they first classed them as Indians. That was the first misnomer. But they recognized the Indian. But then later on, they start basically just saying, well, let's just go ahead and just get them out the way by just calling them black and African American. That them was the later on misnomers. But the original first misnomer was the term or the word Indian. We're not that. But the statute that I just gave you was American Indian Trust Fund. Now, they telling you withdrawing trouble from, like for instance, subpart B. It says withdrawing tribal funds from trust. And it says who is eligible. It's 1200.10. It said who is eligible to withdraw their tribal funds from trust. And then you go, you hit it. It says any tribe from whom manage funds in trust. And then you put up tribe. It said tribe means any Indian tribe, band, comma, nation, comma, rancheria, comma, Pueblo, Pablo, comma, colony, or community, including any Alaskan Native village or regional or village corporation as defined or established pursuant to Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act, which is federally recognized by the U.S. government for special programs and service provided for secondary to Indians because of their status as Indians. So what they did, they created the Indian, and this all derives from the Globe Union, because see, they know what they're supposed to do as a trustee. So what they did, they created a whole different character and name for the people of the free society. And now they're using our resources that actually belong to us. I'm going to say it just like this. Ain't no motherfucking Indian. That's a fictitious name that is up under the civil right for a civil juridic person. Phil Abians was given the authority to represent the free society, which would be the Moors, as trustees to represent the Homo sapiens, not no motherfucking juridic person called Indian. So our resources that belong to us is being channeled down another motherfucking road on some fake shit, on some fraudulent stuff. You excuse me because I'm catching now because I'm upset, and our people just don't know what's really going on. Going back to that video and then what I'm saying now, I've been speaking for a minute. I ain't gave my partner no time to speak, but I just want to know, am I clear what I'm saying, Mobite? I want to be. Am I clear?
I don't think you could be more clear, man. Our shit is still being pillaged because it has been the people that agreed with whichever one of our ancestors, the group of ancestors that agreed to be called Indians, they set a precedent that the alternate society went and solidified with statutes and codes so that they would be recognized, so that they have, I know, over 15 to 20 schools around the country of North America that actually educates children about Indians. But the schools aren't teaching about us, and people don't know that all they have to do is replace that misnomer with more, or the Asiatics, and it's corrected. I mean, I feel your anger because we know that at your age of majority, everything should have been automatic. But because, we still have people trying to lead without actually being competent, for the longest, we just wanted to not disassociate ourselves with Indians. That's it. Not really addressing the fact that these people shouldn't even be around. Or if they are around, they need to be Moors, corrected. They status need to be corrected.
And we pose to attack the fact of what I just stated about that we are not Indians, but what they did in order so that they can have jurisdiction over the Moor, because they don't have jurisdiction over the Moor. So they created this character called Indian.
Right.
And then now they are giving up our resources and stuff to people like Virgo Triad.
Right.
She claimed to be a native Indian. But a native Indian is a fictitious character that does not have a nationality. See, they was given trusteeship to represent the Homo sapiens, or higher order beings. The Globe Union is within the charter. So by them being up under that covenant, they supposed to represent the Homo sapiens. We will be considered the Homo sapien for lack of better words, to get away from anybody trying to, you know, how they do, where they mix in the person, and when you talk, you know, citizen and all that other shit. No, I'd rather for just to say, yeah, I'd rather just say, now,
yes, my bad.
Go ahead.
Like she tried to assert American democracy, or what she say, the Democratic Republic. Like that's like saying sob sit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She's very ignorant, and after I get off of this, I just want to because I want people to understand that I just what was it, 25 USC 1200, and that trust fund that belongs to where they try to say who is a tribe, who, like when I get done, like I told you, you know, I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, the pen is mightier than a sword.
Right.
You know, whoever is backing this that y'all been doing, I don't care how long y'all had it going on, is fraud and it's treason, because you stealing from our resources, and now anybody can pull up and talk about the Indian.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But y'all know who the true Indians is. And it's not any. Y'all know who the true Moors is that y'all had, what is it, hypothecated?
Yeah.
Or, you know, you change the identity to Indian so that y'all can have jurisdiction over these group of people. But really, it's the juridic person that you created and call it Indian. And then you just letting anybody come up and just claim Indian. Some of these people, man, I remember Trump. When he was younger. And he was talking to the Congress. He was talking to one of, you know, and they was asking him saying something about Indian. And I knew, you know, when you woke and you know what's really going on, he was looking at the dude. He said, they don't look like Indians to me. They showed the picture of the Indians before and he kept saying it over and over. And he was looking at that so-called, because he was at some type of little congressional hearing or whatever. But when he kept saying that to dude, he was looking at him like, man, stop playing. But that's how his look was. But he kept saying, like, they don't look like Indians to me. Like, man, stop.
Right.
But like, man, like, who you talking to, man? You know goddamn well don't make no damn Indians. You know who the damn Indians is. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at him, I'm laughing, but I'm like in the same token, like, yeah. But no, it's going over everybody else's head because he kept saying it like, they don't look like Indians to me, you know, making the faces like, man, stop playing with me, man. You know damn well don't make no damn who the Indians are they referring to. Well, I already knew that he, you know what I'm saying, he was saying basically like, they don't look like they black to me. That's what he was with them saying, you know what I'm saying? But we know what I'm saying is the Moors. That's how he was addressing them. But what I just brought up was 25 USC 1200. Going back to the globe meaning from our covenant, our ancestors gave them trusteeship. So whoever owned the Vatican had an agreement with our ancestors to look out for us. Okay? So basically, we found out on the Vatican because of what we've been going through. And it goes back to me saying about 10 minutes ago, we can't help. Like, for instance, when you was working, you said you was at Burger King. You said you knew how you was supposed to fry that meat, but you said you was like, nah, I ain't doing it the way y'all want me to, because you basically was trying to keep everybody from eating the same damn shit, cross-contamination. I know what you was saying, but to them, they had a rule, but you didn't follow that rule. I know people that go to work, they might be on their time clock, and they might tear their leg loose, and they supposed to be working. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They followed that rule. So now you got to think about it. Look how big this the corporation. When I'm about to read this to you, you go see how much responsibility that the Vatican took on. Look. And let's go back to the our law. It said we was never conquered. For those who've been misled, miseducated, we was never conquered. And that the law still stands to this day, which is the organic constitution. And the Pope in the General Civil Orders clearly stated, he clearly stated that our Constitution still stands. Because they would not be able to be over here if it wasn't for the Constitution. They over here through the Constitution. And by being a covenant, they fall in up under the supreme law of the land. It's part and parcel. Some people might not want to accept it because it's coming from over there, but it is what it is. I don't have no problem accepting it because I ain't seen nothing in there, not yet, that will be like, nah, they got to go. You know what I'm saying? If anything, I'm glad that if it's like it is, that that the ancestors guided me to where I got. But I'm telling you, it's a lot of us Moors that's supposed to be woke that ain't even touched up on this. They're not giving up the civics and everything. And I hate to say it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of them, Mobite.
It is, man. I mean, we know for the most part to stay out of their tribunals, out of their jurisdiction.
Stay out of their tribunals. There's a procedure that you're supposed to follow. And I know a few of them that go in, like for instance, Jamal, he kept citing cases, right? Do he know that he don't know that them cases is null and void?
Yeah.
From the beginning? He don't know that.
It's certain you need to find a case that's like, no, we don't.
He don't know that. For instance, that part I just read to you, what we just read 5 minutes ago about our trust fund, here it is right here. The Globe Union Reserve Bank, to manage the supreme fiat and sovereign currency of one heaven, 7 reserve banks are hereby formed by the Sacred Covenant as the principal financial organs of the Eucadian societies, namely the Globe Union Reserve Bank, Africa's Union Reserve Bank, America's Union Reserve Bank, Arabian Union Reserve Bank, and Asian Union Reserve Bank, Euro Union Reserve Bank, and Oceanic Union Reserve Bank. The Globe Union Reserve Bank shall be the primary financial entity of all societies on earth, and on behalf of all heaven, including the divine creator, all angels, saints, great spirits, and demons redeemed. No other financial entity shall have higher standing. Now, I just gave y'all just a little piece. The Globe Union that I read from prior, before I got to the Globe Union Reserve Bank, our ancestors had it set up to where we have a reserve bank for us. That's why on the dollar bill you see our pyramid. That's why you see the eagle. A lot of y'all might have got it mixed up in thinking that the eagle was for, because it was the other half was for the Abians, or you thinking it was from Great Britain or whatever. No, both sides belong to us. And that's why on the dollar bill, like I said, that you see that represents to us is that pyramid, and the other one is the eagle. Okay? Our ancestors set up basically a trust for us. And that trust, which is the Reserve Bank. Unfortunately, you can't help who you have working for you. For instance, he knew you work for Burger King, and you weren't supposed to be throwing that meat in that grease like that. So you were supposed to, put that meat and let everybody get a little bit of air, a little flavors of everything. That little pork, fish, all that. You know what I'm saying? But you get it your way. You know what I mean?
Conform.
This is what's going on. They take them from our reserve bank. And that's why they take it from our reserve bank, and that's why it says who is eligible to withdraw their tribal funds from the trust. That goes back to the Globe Union Reserve Bank, because that trust is associated to the Globe Union that I just read to you. We have a trust, and a lot of y'all is not aware of trust. Y'all don't even have a clue what a trust is. But we have a trust that how all this connects and how all this is put together. But it takes for you to have to understand civics. And if you, I'm telling you, the covenant and the canons will outdo any book that you can give me.
Anyone.
Any book. Any book. I would take this over any book in my lifetime. No one can write a book and no one can say anything that can compare to this right here. Nothing. This is giving you the civics and everything. It's breaking down everything from the history. It's like a diary. And it tells you the do's and don'ts. Now, I ain't going to even get off in too much of the Globe Union Reserve Bank, because people need to learn on their own. I'm just going to go off into this is what I'm going to go off into. We were just talking about, before I get off of this, I want y'all to understand this is how important the supreme law of the land is to me, the covenant. It even covers one Islam, and it even covers one spirit tribe. You can't never say that this book ain't the man. Listen. Now, I want
to. One spirit tribe, it doesn't speak of Indians. It speaks of Hinduism and Buddhism.
Yes.
Nothing Indian. I did see where it tried to assert something about American Indians and what is it, Alaskan Indians, and so they just put that term Indian on a lot of people.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I mean, you might catch something in there, but it's not detrimental. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying? This book is you know what I'm saying, better than my mom. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm saying that if you gonna learn your civics and your history, this is the book. You know what I mean? Now it takes for what your ancestors give you or where they guide you for you to understand. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, just like we know we ain't black and African American, just like you should know that we're not Indian. But you should also know that Indian is really derived from the Moor, because it was the Moor who was first classed as the Indian. And our resources, you know what I'm saying, is within the Indian statutes and stuff that was created. But it's all done out of fraud, because the Indian is not a Homo sapien. The Indian is a character that they created. Because see, the alternative society don't have no jurisdiction. It's many case laws on the Indian. They don't have no jurisdiction on the Indian. And see, we was wrong going into the courts trying to get them to rule, because see, they'll rule on us. They'll rule if we claim to be Indian. You know what I mean? And if your argument is in your favor to where it's going to stop their revenue, that's when they will do this right here. And this is the reason why they don't really have no standing whatsoever. And this is against what I'm about to read. This disqualified that so-called judge. Here it is. Yeah, this disqualified as no, I'm sorry, I keep calling her a judge, but that's what they normally do. They want to be a so-called judge when they still a member of the bar association. That's why if you want to know about the Pope's General Civil Orders, he said that their license was suspended. Any American bar association or whatever, well, their license already been suspended. They just, I don't know why people ain't never, you know what I'm saying? Here it is right here. This is up under agreement, dispute, and distinction. Perfidy is another word for treason. And this is why Jamal and them need to respectfully step up their game with civics, because he could have had shut her down a long time ago. He asked her, did one of the Moors ask her, did she have a driver's license? Mobile. Well, anyway, Mobile must be occupied right now. So,
I'm here.
Mobile, you speak?
I'm here. Yeah,
but I was asking
Kush had, I heard you. Kush had Kush Day had asked her about seeing her license or where she was she had a license to practice law, but also I believe her about her driver's license was asked, and then she tried to dance around it, and then later, yeah, I have a driver's license. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the question did come up.
Well, it's just like she having a driver's license or whatever. Okay. She had, her argument was that basically we don't have a right to. Her argument is that basically we don't have a right to travel, and that the first thing they always want to talk about how old a case law is, right? Even though the case laws, might not be valid because of what I'm about to read, because if the so-called judge was a member of the bar association at the time, they were disqualified anyway.
Right.
But in every case right now is really should be vacated lawfully. But I'm about to say this. Perfidy is another word for treason. And this is under agreements, dispute, and distinction. Perfidy is the deliberate, deceitful act of falsely making a promise, a vow, allegiance, or agreement for the purpose of gaining approximately the trust in order to undertake an act of treachery and great injury. Canon 1602. Perfidy is one of the most heinous acts against the law in society, and that a person deliberately uses the good faith and trust of others against them, thus creating confusion, further mistrust, and turmoil. Canon 1603. Of all persons, the inferior juridic persons that have existed, there exist two classes of persons of who have consistently demonstrated continued acts of perfidy against virtually every society and community with apparent immunity within the framework of inferior Roman law, the banking class and the bar association. Canon 1604. The banking class of families sharing long history of creating, owning, and controlling financial institutions are the single greatest source of acts of perfidy. Then every other class of professions and persons combined, including bar associations, As a result, this banking class sharing common ancestry and cultural heritage have been responsible for more wars, genocides, recessions, depression, and global misery than in all worst dictators of history. Canon 1605. Second to the banking class of families, the bar associations are the second greatest source of acts of perfidy, usually working closely supported of the banking class. Canon 1606. In accordance with these canons and the sacred covenant distinguished Kayyum, and all penalty for their historical perfidy. No person whose father, grandfather, or great-grandfather was director of a bank or major shareholder of a bank is permitted to hold any position of any financial institution, nor may any other family be involved in banking for 7 generations that follow. Canon 1607. In accordance to these canons and the sacred covenant, but distinguished Kayyum as the penalty for their historical perfidy, no person who is a member of the Bar Association is permitted to hold any position at law, including judge, magistrate, barrister, attorney, lawyer, clerk, or assistant. Was that clear?
Clear.
So therefore, under this canon of 1607, that so-called lawyer or attorney who was on that video, she is a bar member. So therefore, up under the laws that govern you, you are not qualified to sit as a lawyer. You are just barred. So who are you to sit back and try to debate our Constitution and a right to travel when you are prohibited?
Right.
As a bar. See what I'm saying?
Ultra-vires her authority.
Ultra-vising her authority. And they only get away with it because people don't know their left foot from their right foot. And not only that, it states clearly, if y'all don't know the power of the canons, no law may exist, be written or enforced unless it conforms to the body of canon laws preceding this canon known as Austrian Illis Divini Canon in accordance with Patis Singlis Kayyum. What it say clearly, no law may exist, be written or enforced unless it conforms to the body of canon laws preceding this canon known as Austrian Illis Divini Kayyum in accordance with the Patis Singlis Kayyum. So therefore, anything that's been created, statutes or anything, I don't care what it is, these laws govern the ops.
Flat out.
Flat out.
And they are the ops.
You know, and the positive law is the laws that are enacted by men and women through proper authority in accordance with these canons for the government of a society. A positive law ultimately refers to the physical objects and living beings. All by the positive law may be said to be derived from natural law. Canon 668. A positive law cannot abrogate, suspend, nor change natural law, nor is it possible for a positive law or natural law to abrogate, suspend, or change divine law.
Nope.
See what I'm saying? So it said the only time in the laws is only established to take force is when they are promulgated in accordance with the canons. This is what the canons cover. All positive law may be defined by 4 foundations, including concepts, principles, operations, results in 19 primary systems, including ecclesiastical law. See, that's what a lot of people get confused at. Because I remember I asked Chris Day, and I was trying to build with him, and I said, hey, you know what I'm saying, you aware of the canon laws? And he's so stuck in his books that he always went, yeah, he cool with black, we not black and African American and stuff, but they always pointing out all these other books, but you skipping the main book that you should be really into, which is this covenant. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
he ignored me. He said, yeah, it's got to do with the church. That's where we left it at. You know what I'm saying? He was right with it. But you know what I'm saying? Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? You got your little 2 steps. You thinking y'all know something? And I'm calling them out. They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. I think they've been misleading for real, because you ain't gave no remedy. You talk about black and African American. Yeah, we're not that. But where's our remedy at?
Right.
I've been in here this whole time. And I've been going mostly more than you after you read your first, canons. I've been giving up remedy. Have I been giving up remedy?
Yes, you have. I mean, I can assert that it's been people that's been nationalized, where they say 10 years or more, that I've helped from the information that you have helped me with through these canons. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily having them assert any canons because they haven't studied them, but to show like the steps that I've taken. Like one of the main things I asserted was that your I was telling people about the reversion of the state and how I asserted it to the Department of Transportation. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people's issue come from them traveling. And that's one of the main ways of putting all of them on notice. Because if anybody is well studied, they know that we are dealing with a government ordinance department, regardless of which, I just discovered yesterday that the Department of Interior is who really has a handle on the Indians. You know what I'm saying? But they're all departments. These little courtrooms and offices and stuff like that, they don't really have the authority or standing to give you any remedy.
No. Not at all. Not at all. And what you just said, getting back to the primary system.
Uh-huh. You still there? You still there?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
they don't want me to.
Something just happened. Agent Smith.
Listen.
Right.
The primary systems include ecological laws, administrative law, life and ethics, food and drugs, knowledge, obligations and agreement, property and succession, money and trade, language, civilization, entities, religion, sacred texts, treaties, writs, and customs, sacred office, divine, sacraments, and time and places. These are the things that the canon covered. You know what I mean? I want to furthermore that we're sheer disqualified. Everybody been getting beat up for all this time, not knowing the elbow from their motherfucking left foot.
Right.
For instance, let me see. Let me get it. Go ahead. Give them your success, man. How you was pulled over.
Oh,
from
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You crushed your.
Yeah, I didn't have like I asserted before. I ain't quick to grab my phone and record and all of that type of stuff, because I was looking for it anyway. I wasn't trying to speed like what the cop asserted when they pulled me over. that I was speeding. And mind you, I have Morris plates on my car. I didn't have insurance. He didn't even ask me for insurance. I didn't have the contracted driver's license because I know my rights is not a privilege. And when he first came to the window, I asked him, you see my fez, why did you pull me over? Because I've read the county sheriff handbook, which is a manual basically given to every cop, or every cop should have knowledge of it, and every sheriff should be um employing his policy enforcers with this information, that pulling over a national or stopping a national when there's no injured party or injured property or anything is treason. And, when I asked him, you see my fez, why you pull me over? He ain't really had nothing to say. Then he asked me for my driver's license. I stated, my rights is not a privilege, but I gave him my Morris travel card. He went back to his car and I guess ran my number and stuff. Came back, said he was inclined to give me a warning. My driver's license was expired if I wanted to renew it, and have a nice day. It wasn't about citing codes or statutes or any of that. It was basically, he was a much older cop, it looked like, so I knew he had to know, the basic stuff I was telling him or asserting to him. You can't, don't try to violate my rights. I've been followed. Cop followed me for about 3-4 miles. I zoomed through the yellow light. He stopped. It's just to, I guess, show me their presence. I don't know. I've had cops like, cause I'm all out here. So the cops was zooming up and down the street and doing U-turns with their lights on. They'll get up by me and then do a U-turn with their lights flashing. Got cars pulling over. I pulled over. I guess they was trying to see if I would pull over, because they seem to assume that when they confuse the sleepy Moors who call themselves sovereign citizens, though I don't know where, I haven't really heard anyone call themselves a sovereign citizen, but they assume that we think we above the law, or that we don't have to adhere to certain laws. But common sense is common sense. And, not like me, it's common courtesy to pull over if you see an ambulance or a police car. But my thing was, y'all did that like twice. Busted you, came back. It was one truck at first, and then here come a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, y'all just want me to see y'all? It wasn't no other reason for them to do it. You know what I'm saying? But right. I know their belligerence and how, they gotta be upset, because I've put everybody from the mayor of Euclid in Ohio to the mayor of Cleveland, and the governors and the sheriffs and everybody that needed to be, the director of the Department of Transportation, and it's not that I'm looking for any
confrontation.
Yeah, it's not, because they're gonna do as I say. That's all it is to it. I know what your jurisdiction is, and that's all it is. The same way with Frank LaRose, when he attempted to have me hypothecating a established procedure and established laws that assert you need wet ink signatures with certain contracts or certain documents. And he tried to get me to electronically scan some documents. If I would have consented, would have set precedent. But I asserted Canon Law and informed him of his duties and not to ultravires his authority. And I got remedy, immediate remedy.
And was after I took you in under my wings, and I brought my knowledge to you, man. Have you been successful?
Yes, very successful. I mean, not being, I'm a very humble guy, you know, but people out here still stuck in mortgages and deed. They think that deed is an instrument that gives them use of that property forever is misinformed. Of course, rendering Caesar means rendering Caesar, and that's of the study, because a lot of people, you know, I don't want to say too many letters and too many words, because I'd rather for the people to get with us privately, you know, and go further with this. But I mean, I own my land, not just, I don't care about the house. You know what I'm saying? It's the land, the 50 by 140 square foot. You're gonna have to wait. And it was through following the studies that you discovered with faith, because I know who you are. I know we can go back to gladiator school and how you was Adam then. You know what I'm saying? And informing me then. You know what I'm saying? And that was, I know, as of the 17th of this month will be 20 years, or my bad, 16 for me. You know what I'm saying? Since I'm in this chapter. But I'm still with you. I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Because I was one of those people that yearned for a Taj video, the free conference call like we doing on here. I even discovered this venue, but never. Every time you ask a pertinent question that sought remedy for any type of injury, you got study, or, you know, no answer at all. You got around, or, you know, when we first asserted the Canon Laws, we got shot down and barred from the call. You know, like nothing's wrong with my internet service, but I'm having problems with connection to the server. You know what I'm saying? That means someone with control keeps shutting me out. But it is what it is. That person wouldn't be in the situation they're in right now if they probably would have, instead of asserting that you read the 13 Great Writs, actually read the rest of the charter.
Yeah. For real. You know what I'm saying?
You know? Because if anybody listens to this, and because I know I did my research myself, if anybody listen to this can Google the 13 Great Writs and it doesn't lead you to one heaven, show me, or show us the procedure of issuing it and all of that.
The reason why you don't go to their courts. Once you overstand the covenant tells you you don't go to their courts. It tells you your power. It tells you, you know what I'm saying, who's inferior or whatever, and so on and so forth. You know, the Globe Union was clear when I mentioned it 10, 15 minutes ago. You know what I mean? I gave you partial of dealing with the Treasury that belonged to us. You know what I mean? And it's like you said, you just became aware about what department will be dealing with us as the Moors, but that department might be up under one name, but it's got to be probably, most likely it's just another name of the Treasury. Because if it's dealing with our Treasury and everything, it's just another name. It's an apartment that's just another name. You know what I'm saying? Because our Treasury is set up through the trust. So, like I said, you've been successful. You know what I'm saying? And
yes.
All like I said, from everything that I have presented to you, it's been competent. It's been competent work. And
especially with the one guy, I don't even want to get into that. But he got slapped around. You know what I'm saying? with not physically, metaphorically, lawfully, he got slapped around, and he ceased and desist immediately. Well, he had an influence waiting on him, hot. You know what I'm saying? It was about to be hot. Christmas was gonna be canceled.
He was talking shit though, man.
He was. Like, I don't know what a mortgage or dead pledge is. Stop it. I ain't agree to none of this.
I said, okay. It's like, okay. I said we gotta get out here.
Yeah. ASAP.
Hey, he was the most humblest, trying to stop a little shade, most humblest. He went to a little inside private eye, a little.
He hit me. Hey, he hit me with the with the letter.
if people knew, man, if they just knew, like we ain't on here capping, we ain't on here playing no games or nothing. Like, we are serious. Like you said, we go for gladiator school. How I feel about this life, man. This ain't no play. If you care about your life, it's like how you will care about your children. If you care about your children, this ain't no play, man. This ain't no play. I'm on here because I'm disgusted with the way our people be going and everything, and not knowing. And that's one thing. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know. We crawled. You know what I mean? I had to crawl. You know how sometimes we could talk about this because a lot of people, the dope game,
Mm-hmm.
So start out with a small rock, and then people work their way up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the next thing you know, they might be, saying that they be the man.
Yeah.
But I was making an example. I'm sorry I had to use that, but that's how it is in reality. So a lot of people can relate to it. You know what I mean? But, man, listen. This ain't no play, y'all out here listening. We did it. We done it.
We ain't selling doves. We ain't selling doves after birds. In other words.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To use that analogy. But yeah, it's because it's all about restoring your estate, and it's not about terminating no contract if you can't terminate the trust.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
The trusts are still being injured. And from what I've seen on the Department of Interior, there's over 100 and some thousand trusts that has not been claimed, or they say some of them don't have social security numbers associated with them, but we know what that is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what that is.
Yeah. So
Just like
you
for
know,
me, with them sending me
that's why I
some.
told you. That's why I told you we when I first brought it to you, and I could tell what your response was, and I had to, I'm always, and you know what I'm saying now, I might bring you into the circle of what we're talking about, but
Hmm.
I'm always put it down, get your opinion of things, you know what I'm saying, you know
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying,
right.
to make you part of it, because you intelligent, and but once I really kicked it off to you, and I could tell with your response, you knew that this ain't no play, and I'm on the right shit.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I spent 2 days searching for Canon laws and only got like two extra sets out of what they actually give you on the site. All the rest of them has been tampered with, or you can't even find them. You know what I'm saying? Which I know international law, civic
Oh,
law,
wow.
all of that has.
Oh, try, probably like you could arrest them and put a cap in their ass.
Yeah, 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 yeah. If
You know
somebody
what I'm saying?
find that correct, chop the man off. Probably ain't no telling. You know what
For real,
I'm
man.
saying? Huh?
But yeah, y'all listening out there though. My brother Morris is successful. From what I'm saying, I feel good off of his. Whether I was able to you know help him accomplish. You know what I'm saying? And it felt good to me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Especially just like to know what belong to you now. Like I'm saying, you ain't never got to pay. You ain't never got to pay for no revenue. Talking about I'm getting paid because my birthday. I got 45 days to get them some revenue in order for me to get them out in my conveyance to go get my daughter some milk.
Right.
If I don't have gave them the revenue and rest of my vehicle, my conveyance, you know, uh, I can't do nothing. You know.
Right. That's what some people. That's some don't understand is that if you get pulled over, you get snatched out the car, you get incarcerated, your paperwork ain't right. It's just not right. Something ain't right. You know what I'm saying?
Say it again. Say it again.
I said if you like for instance, my situation. If my paperwork wasn't right when I got pulled over by that cop, they would have towed my car and took me to jail. You know what I'm saying? I had like 5 violations. No, I got Morris plate car. No seat belt. He said I was speeding. No contracted driver's license. And he ain't even asked for insurance. You know what I'm saying? If you get pulled over and you get pulled out the car and get incarcerated, that's because your paperwork ain't right. That's what I was asserting. I yield.
You would have been you would have been on the news.
Right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Virgo Triad would have made a video about me. You know what I'm saying?
With,
like, like, man, especially with her, man. Her swindle, you know, the the few, I guess her sheep also. You know what I'm saying? Because they like to spew racist and biased comments. You know, none of it is based on any truth. It's all about them trying to perpetuate the perfidy. You know what I'm saying? or make people that is, I think it's a part of genocide. You know, it's an aspect of genocide. You ask me. You're not who you say you are. You trying to tell us we ain't who we are.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that what she be doing, man, is she helping in like this slavery. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she's like basically like we ain't got nothing coming. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we lying or something. You know.
Right. like what I say. The one guy question was to me was this was his question. Who was here that was a Moor before Noble Drew Ali? Like even a question to ask, you know, like even exercise answering. You know what I'm saying? Like who was here before Noble Drew Ali? Of course, there was other Moors here. You know what I'm saying? They
But
was just they was
the way they
sleep.
try to play it, you know, uh, hold on. We don't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like basically he didn't exist. Nobody existed before him.
Right, 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 right.
That's what he's trying to say.
Hold on.
That's what he's trying to say. You know what I mean? Uh, yeah, we want to keep this rolling while he on pause, but I wanted to say is that y'all got to study those y'all got to study.
I'm here, Mobot. I'm on the phone.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was just telling them they got to study because uh, it's all in our in those canons to help you get your relief. And anybody listening, it's very important to study. Y'all have to study. Just type that in there. Uh, yeah, it was I wanted to say this to y'all. He was very successful. I've been successful. Now, my thing is that I want to let them know
I'm back.
I am not. Yeah, it's cool. I was just telling them, I was just saying uh, I am not by any end, but we know what we need to do next, Mobite.
Yeah.
You agree with me?
Yes, I do. That's all that I seen yesterday was like the rap was going down deep. Remember, for some odd reason, just out of happenstance, I searched that Franco Collins because I seen where he asserted that he was a part of, Yucca, and it just led me down like even further, like man, it's all tied. It's all tied. It ain't no way to get around it. You gotta, if you consider yourself an Indian, that's about to cease. It has to cease. It
Yes.
has to. You don't own. You still being violated.
Okay. Yeah, you're being violated because that's why they did it. That's why they call it so calling them more Indian so that they can have jurisdiction over them more.
Right.
And it's a violation because and if you ask them and say what nationality is a Indian, and Americans not it because we just clearly gave what a charter in with under the what is it, the canons. We just clearly showed or demonstrated what it means. For y'all to listening, to say that I'm American, that is the union. You know what I'm saying? So, they say you got to have something that goes with support you as being American. Like, when we say, okay, our race is Asiatic, but we are more Americans, or we are more American national. You know what I'm saying? Indian American is not, and you say Native American, that's not a nationality. I tell you what, go try to use the 13 Great Writs, one of the 13 Great Writs talking about you're fucking Indian, and see how far you get.
or African, especially an African American.
African American, black. see how far you get. You know what I'm saying? I want to bring it back to this with dealing with going back to that so-called lawyer. And man, this is only scratching the surface because they talk about the Vatican talk about because whatever it is, they had a problem with the bar association. But it clearly says honesty. It said honesty is cognitively. Do you have honesty? Because I was gonna let you take over.
That's under cognitive. That's under the cognitive laws.
Well, if you got it under the cognitive laws, then you got it up under the positive laws. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got honesty.
Let me see. Yeah, I got honesty.
Yeah.
All right. And I noticed that our Canon numbers might be a little, because it's more on one than it is on the other. But
but I guarantee you, every day, listen, I guarantee you though, I use them mobile.
Oh yeah,
I seen them Google on themselves.
I already know. I
seen them Google on themselves.
Huh?
I said I've seen them Google on themselves. Well, I ain't seen them, but I just imagine them Google. You seen it from your work.
We sure
you seen it from your work.
We sure wish we was there. But
oh my God.
This one is Article 213, honesty, Canon 2716. Honesty is the cognitively process currently observed objects and concepts or memories clearly without deliberate distortion, thereby communicating such observation or recollection as accurately as possible without exception. Canon 2717. Honesty is
that late. I'm sorry, and I wanted to say this is her. If she do know, this will be her for honesty, and if she don't know, she's just incompetent and she'll be there, and they got canons for her anyway. But go ahead.
Right. Honesty is the second of the 7 virtues of law, and upon which the remaining 5 virtues are based. It is typified by calmness of the intestines, It is typified by calmness of the intentions. Canon 27:18. A lack of honesty correctly implies a lack of accuracy and the deliberate distortion of alleged facts and evidence. Therefore, dishonesty is the enemy of the court, as without accuracy of facts there can be no justice. Mind you, these are maxims. Canon 27:19. All judges and magistrates of competent form, by definition, are sworn to protect the law and uphold justice by not permitting dishonesty to reign in their. Canon 27:20. It is a solemn and sacred duty of all judges and magistrates to defend the living law against attack by any guild, society, or association of men and women that seek to usurp the rights of members and corrupt the living law through deliberate dishonesty. Canon 27.
Wait a minute. I want to say that for y'all who don't know what the guild is that he's talking about, that's the Bar Association. And the society or association, but that's the Bar Association. Then when he says that any men and women that seeks to assert the rights of the members of the corrupt the living law is due process. And it has to do with the living law or where like a right to travel. That's a violation of our due process. So right. I just want y'all to know. And this is because of my studies, and I'm able to break that down for y'all who might not understand that. So I'm going to let him finish. Go ahead, Mobike.
Canon 27:21. Any guild, society, or association of men and women that seeks to deliberately corrupt the living law for their own ends and abrogate the rights of other men and women through trickery and dishonesty are an enemy of the living law and have no right to claim superior status before the law. Canon 27:22. As it is a secret oath of all bar associations to conceal and corrupt the law, no member of a bar association may ever be permitted to enter a competent forum, claim to represent the law, or sit as a judge, magistrate, or official. Canon 27:23. In accordance with these canons, the presence of a member of the Bar Association in any court in any official capacity immediately disqualifies such a venue as being regarded as a competent forum. Therefore, any judgments, ordinances, or orders issued by such an incompetent forum have no effect and are null and void from the beginning. And that ain't just from the Supreme Court calling the lower courts incompetent neither.
No, that's coming from the horse's mouth. The bosses of bosses. You know what I'm saying? The laws of laws. You know what I'm saying? That why wouldn't I accept this as being the supreme law of the land? You know what I'm saying? That right there, just by just putting that up there, she could say whatever. She could try to come back and say whatever she want to say. But at the end of the day, off with your head. Now I know the remedy to take her out of commission all the way. So if you go up against any so-called judge with any type of judgment or whatever, they are automatically disqualified because every last one of them is a member of the Bar Association or the guild. And not only that, if you pull up, see, this is where they make their local laws, which is let me see. I cannot pull this up. Hold up. Let's see.
I got my people coming over in a minute.
Okay. Well.
Babies and children.
Oh, yeah. It says 28 U.S.C. Section 455 deals with the disqualification of a district court judge, and it states that any justice, judge, or magistrate of the United States shall disqualify himself herself in the proceeding, which his or her impartially might reasonably be questioned. But see, they water it down. That's what they do. If you go in there, though, it talks about like how they supposed to disqualify themselves if they basically got an interest in the security. A lot of people don't know that the security is the birth certificate. You know, so at the end of the day, you know, they are disqualified. That was under honesty. There's so many different. I want to read knowledge.
I'm showing my screen at the same time. I don't know if you can see it.
That's good. I can't see it right off, no, but it's cool. That's good. You're showing it. I wish I was set up to show it. I can only say it, but like, okay, now I'm on mine, and it talks about knowledge, and mine might read different, but it's virtue of law, and it said knowledge is conscious. Knowledge of law is the true definition, application, process, history, purpose, or function without confusion, with false information designed as concealment of key legal meanings, jurisprudence, and equitable to the concept of knowledge. Canon 1704. Knowledge is the sixth of the seven virtues of law, and upon which the final virtues of law is derived. It is typed by the demonstration of a well-rounded intellect, skills, and discriminate and balanced disposition. Canon 1705. Knowledge of law presented by guilds known as the Bar Association is not knowledge, but ignorance of the law. As such, the dictionaries. So even when they was talking about the dictionaries in there, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times the dictionaries are going to keep the real meaning. Like, for instance, under the Canon laws, under personal jurisdiction, it clearly states that personal jurisdiction is nationality. Right. So if you knew this, a lot of cases will have to be thrown out, because that's why you coming in under your nationality. That's why you cannot come into court talking about you an Indian, because you don't have no nationality. See, nope. And this is one of the reasons why they created the term Indian and applied it to the Moors. Okay? Now, I have documentation from a body legislator that was from the Authors Society, which I sent to you, which is under the Delaware legislation, where they clearly called it what is called the Lenape Moors. They was calling them Lenape. You know what I'm talking about?
Lenape, I think. Lenape Moors.
Yeah. So they call them Lenape Indians. Well, like it just said right here, is that knowledge of law presented by the guilds known as the Bar Association is not knowledge, but ignorance of the law as such as dictionary statutes. Like when it says, when the statute stated that it's a law, because really, when I go to the statute in the Canon laws, it tells you what a statute really is, okay? Mm-hmm. And it says statutes, cases, and precepts are founded on deliberate fraud and distortion and concealment, right? You cannot find in a dictionary nowhere, Black's Law Dictionary or whatever, you cannot find that personal jurisdiction mean nationality.
Nope.
Nor can you find in the dictionary that territory jurisdiction mean sovereignty. Nope. So guess where you can find it at? Guess where you can find it at? You can find it in the Canon. You can find it in the Canon. And look,
that's even to assert that we have an inheritance, or you know, we own the land. It's no legislation, but it's in the canons.
In the canons.
It's all in the canons.
A judge, magistrate, prosecutor, or counsel that is only knowledgeable in the law presented by the Bar Association and their allies has no knowledge of law whatsoever. So that when she was arguing, even though she's not a lawyer like she thinks she is, because she's been disqualified and disbarred not only by the post-general civil orders, she's also disbarred by the canons, okay, which is the governing laws that govern her, because she only a lawyer through the one heaven or the holy see. And if the canons is saying that she's been disbarred, that means that you cannot work as a lawyer for the same what you call it, covenant, through the covenant that says that you are not qualified, right or wrong. Okay? So it says that it's designed to hide knowledge. Okay, it says ignorance of the law is no excuse for an officer of the court, as it is solemn obligations of all officers of the court, not the parties before the court, to be well versed in jurisprudence and therefore due process of law. See, that's where they used to always say ignorance of the law and make you feel bad. You know what I'm saying? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. And then you'll feel bad about it because you were supposed to know the law. But it's basically saying that really that's on them. Ignorance of the law is no excuse for an officer of the court, as it is solemn obligations of officers of the court, not the parties before the court. So therefore, for a judge to say ignorance of the law is no excuse, a so-called judge, I'm sorry, to say that is basically a fraudulent statement. You know what I mean? And
that's what they up there being. They being ignorant by ignorant of the law deliberately.
Deliberately. And it says, any claim, statutes, or principle that seeks to shift obligations of knowledge from officers of the court to parties before the court is an absurdity and deliberate corruption of law, therefore null and void and without validity. And how many times that you might have seen, or they try to say that, ignorance of the law is no excuse, to try to shift the blame on you, making you feel like, you know what I mean, making you feel bad about, but the whole time they was never supposed to do that. See what I'm saying? So now, if they said that in an argument, you come back with the canon and show that you are a fraud. You know what I'm saying? These are the canons that you use against them. You know what I mean? These canons will shut them down. They can't even live no more. They don't even want to live no more. Because now you know you have the tools to be able to go up against the corruptness and the fraud. Then you supposed to exist. Okay? And then you got the last one. By definition, knowledge of the law is usually absent when any inferior Roman court or court operating under Talmudic law, as both systems are deliberately based on teaching of false information of all but very few, with true definition, meaning and function, reserved usually only to the elite of the judge class. See, so in other words, basically, that the ones who really know about the laws is the ones who might have went and got a little education. And all of them don't know, because like it says, even from the guild, which is the bar association, they try to keep most of the lawyers dumbed down. But like only a few judge class might know the truth about the law. Feel what I'm saying? They know about them canons, right. Because the other day, one of the lawyers got on TV and he mentioned something about how they trying to impeach Trump. Now, my thing, if the man ain't in office, how the fuck you going to try to impeach him? You see what I'm saying? Right. But this is the ignorant shit that they put in front of people, and people thinking that this is cool or whatever. Like, that's just common sense. If he's not in office, what is he going through a impeachment process for? Unless something is, I heard that he was supposed to come back in March or something, and he was supposed to be going to be the president for the Republic, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. But which
still got the codes and all of that.
You said what?
I heard he still got the codes and all that. He ain't even relinquished the code yet.
See, so that's the only way that I can see that it would make sense that he's still tied in. Because why would they be still having an impeachment?
Right.
See, they just ain't telling us. You know how we just read it. So a lot of them is lawyers and stuff, and you see that they work for the guild. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Which is the bar association. So a lot of them, so they're looking to have that hearing going on, but they're not telling you the truth because everything is under concealment. You feel me?
majority of them is actors. I mean, that's what they doing is for the guild, but they actors for the guild. They gonna play up multiple roles just to make sure the guild's bottom line is met, have it met, you know.
And this would have me so upset with people like what's her face, Virgo Triad. She sits up there and she thinks she knows what she's talking about because she had control of the narrative of her videos and whatever. But she really like it's sickening. You know what I'm saying? That's like me, man, going to try to work on a jet. I ain't never fuck with no jet parts and nothing in my life. And I'm going to try to tell this, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, no, this is whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. You know what I'm saying? This shit, man, listen. She be so way off, man. And then she tried to really, like, she really knows what she's talking about, man. Like, man, it is so sickening, man. Like, it's sad, man. But my thing is that you trying to suppress us? Are you trying to basically support the slavery? No, they don't have no right to tell us we have a right to travel. You know what I'm saying? Like she was trying to say that she was an Indian.
Right. Native American.
For y'all who listen, Indian is not a nationality. Indian, if you Google it and you find out, regardless if they, you know what I'm saying, they said that, you know, in the canons, there's no such thing of an Indian to where it has anything to do with a homo sapien. Okay? We have, as a homo sapien or higher being, we have a nationality that applies to the homo sapien, flesh and blood man or woman. See, that Indian and all that, black, African American, all those are misnomers and corruption. You know? So, like for instance, when that lady was talking about she's a lawyer, and you know she basically tried to make her point with Jamal and them and Kush Day and them. It shouldn't even been an argument because like right now she already been beat up. This what we talking about, but like Article 1.5. This is principles of law, and this is where the juridic person is created for corporations. This supports the estates in the dead trust known as the birth certificates. Public law is the statutes and ordinance of an inferior public Roman juridic person under inferior Roman Canon Law, otherwise known as public body corporate, public corporation, or public company. Now let me do it again because it might went too fast for y'all. Public law is the statutes and ordinance of an inferior public Roman juridic person under inferior Roman Canon Law, otherwise known as public body, corporate, public corporation, or public company. So therefore, the municipal, state of Ohio, and all that, that's the inferior Roman Canon Law, otherwise known as public body, corporate. So in other words, it's the statutes and the ordinance is the inferior Roman juridic person. So when you look up a statute and it says no person should operate a motor vehicle, that is the juridic person, that statute. But what they do, they add a name to it for one of the birth certificates for whoever was supposed to have violated. So they add a name, Tony Benton. So that Tony Benton is that juridic person who is being charged for that infraction because Tony Benton, the birth certificate, is the statute and ordinance. That is the inferior public Roman juridic person. See what I'm saying? But it's associated to you to tie you in. But if you know what's going on and you know your civics and you know that it does not apply to you, then you know that it's got to be consent involved in everything. It's other stuff that I can't teach you over within this conference call. It's stuff that you must know and learn and study on. We've just been talking just to give you some remedy for some things of what was disturbing, and we've been wanting to get on these calls for a minute, and what we're talking about now. So, like, if this public law, and then I'm going to show y'all, like, ain't no such thing as public law. So, like, I was listening to Jamal, and I know he kept saying public, public, I'm like, well, he not knowing, because they never said anything about what we talking about now. For instance, public law is a deliberate false customary term designed to mislead by hiding the fact that any society operating under public law is actually operating under inferior Roman Canon Law as an estate. That estate is the birth certificate. So it's saying again, public law is actually operating under inferior Roman Canon Law as an estate and public body corporate, and not as a civil or global juridic person. So it's a difference when they're operating under a civil or global juridic person, then I'm operating up under the public law as an estate. So everyone who is up under the estate birth certificate is considered the inferior Roman Canon Law as an estate. And then it says, by custom deliberate design, public law seeks to perpetrate the false beliefs that a particular society promulgates laws in accordance with their constitution. Well, it's not talking about our constitution. See, that's where you got to know the difference between the alternative society and our society. Just what they talking about is that 14th Amendment and that 13th Amendment. Anything that has to do with outside of our organic constitution, which was go back to that video where one of the Moors was speaking about our organic constitution, right? I think he said 7 articles and 10 amendments. Well, however, what this is saying is that that it says that by custom and deliberate design, public law seeks to perpetrate the false beliefs that a particular society promulgates laws in accordance with their constitution. So that 14th Amendment, where they say that it ain't never been ratified and all that, it's already letting you know right here that it's a fraud, because people been thinking that it's been worthy of something, but it's not. And then it says, rather than the true facts that all laws promulgated by all societies subject to the inferior Roman juridic person model are merely statutes and ordinances, not law. So it goes back to when the dictionary, remember we were just reading in Honesty, when Honesty said that dictionaries in them is like fraudulent in its concealment. Now in this canon, it's clearly showing that under the Roman juridic person model are merely statutes and ordinances and not laws. So when she read and he said that statutes is not laws, this canon right here supersedes when she read out of that dictionary that a statute is a law. The statute is not a law. This is coming from the horse's mouth. This is coming from the canons. You know what I'm saying? So it says, Canon 1727, by custom, deliberate design, public law seeks to perpetrate the false belief that the highest law of a particular society is its constitution, when in all societies subject to inferior Roman juridic model are subject to less than 3 superior bodies of law, including the Uniform Commercial Code. I know a lot of people is aware of that. The Roman Canon Law and the Talmudic Law. There's 3 superior bodies of laws that they use that under the alternate society is what they keep on the people who's not aware, they keep on your necks. See? And then they try to create an artificial person, which they did, called Indian, to bring you still up under this same jurisdiction that they're talking about right here. Okay? But they only give a little leeway. Like, you can put up and see that Indians not to be taxed and stuff like that. Well, that's some of what I was reading out of Globe Union, so they give you a little bit of what belongs to you as a free society. So, but some things that they still got over the Indian is by them claiming that they got jurisdiction when they don't. So when you, like I say, when you look in the book, they try to make claim of jurisdiction over the Indian. which, because they created it, they can have that claim. But that's where you come in and say, look, this trust fund and everything that y'all have set up for the Indian, I'm not an Indian, but I know that this is reference, to me as a Moor, because really, originally, that's what the Indian is supposed to be, derived from. You have to break that down to them and let them know that you know what's really going on. And they know who the fuck the real Indian, who the Moor is and what the Indian term is really referring to and everything. You know what I'm saying? I got a whole legislation created from the Holy See trustees that put a whole thing together and said that that the Moors are basically called Indians. If you look up Brown versus Board of Education, you will find out that there's a paragraph where the so-called judge stated that it was supposed to be a separation between the Indians or Moors. So it was basically saying, if you ain't calling them Indians, then they are Moors. You can find that in the case of Brown versus Board of Education, and this was back in the 50s. So anyway, you don't have to have no debate with them. You just basically, if they want to try to, they're already known to lie from the canons, exposing them in honesty or whatever. All you got to do is just hit them with an affidavit of fact, and then tell them under penalty of perjury that you willing to, 50 years in jail, 50 million, and whatever else. You know what I'm saying? Deny this fact. You know what I mean? That's how you hit them. The term Indian is a fictitious misnomer, and it's really derived from the Moor. And then it says, under the canon, it says, unlike inferior Roman canon law that seeks to obligate, to enslave, and mislead, in accordance with the sacred covenant, Factus Singulis Calium, and the 7 pronouncements of Eucadia, all societies have been granted recognition of juridic society persons, holding real property rights, elimination of debts, and restoring rule of law, or waiting for political, military, and judicial classes of these societies to repudiate their deliberate enslavement of their people. So, ain't that what we doing, Mobile?
Something going on, man.
What's wrong?
Nothing. It was all breaking up and shit.
So what I just read was broken up?
Yeah.
What, the last part or all of it?
Just towards the end.
So, okay, let me do it again. By custom and deliberate design, public law to seek to perpetrate the false belief that the highest law of a particular society is its constitution, when all facts of society subject to inferior Roman juridic person model are subject to not less than 3 superior bodies of law, including uniform commercial code, Roman canon law, and Talmudic law. Okay, Canon 1728, unlike inferior Roman canon law that seeks to obligate, to enslave, and mislead, in accordance with the sacred covenant, the Singulis Calium, and the 7 pronouncements of Eucadia, all societies have been granted recognition of juridic society persons holding real property rights, elimination of debts, and restoration of rule of law, awaiting for political, military, and judicial classes of these societies to repudiate the deliberate enslavement of their people. So basically, it's the covenant in the Eucadia, that has set it up for you to be able to be free. And that falls back up under our globe union and everything. And what they doing by creating the Indian and stuff like that the Indian is put up under the public law as far as being, to enslave you. And so what? Even though it's a little bit of freeness up under Indian because they say Indian's not taxed and all that other type of stuff. But that's really what belongs to us as a Moor. We know we're not taxing none of that. But I'm not gonna come up under your venue claiming to be an Indian in order to get what belongs to me when I can establish myself as a Homo sapien Moorish American. Right or wrong.
Right. Why?
And anything that you got in my funds or whatever that belongs to me in my tribe as a tribe, then give it to me without any restrictions, because all case laws, anything that has anything to do with Indians, they are null and void. Because every last one of those case laws that ever was ruled on, every last one of them sat on the bench as a lawyer and a judge at the same time. And there's nothing that they can say. Nothing they can say in those case laws. First of all, I'm not an Indian. So any ruling that you try to apply to me is fraud. You know what I'm saying?
I hear.
Did your company come yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay. So as the term public law is designed to deceive and mislead, it is forbidden to be used as a valid term of law. So, I kept hearing Jamal kept saying public law, and I'm just like, and I'm not taking that away from them, but it's some things that's lost. And me and you been on here, and we've been giving up remedy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I haven't, even like Taj, he talk about that we was defeated and all that other type of stuff. We was not defeated. What did the Iowa law say? Mobile?
In the canons?
Yeah, no. When you read the Iowa law, I said, Taj, Taj Bay.
I might be paraphrasing, but it stated that the people were never physically conquered.
Never. And that the laws that we use to this day still stand.
Still stand.
They might not understand some of the words that you was using or terminology to associate to what we know as today, but what you was reading out of those canons apply back to us. See what I'm saying? So the law basically go back. It is the Constitution.
It's talking about
the Article.
The Olmecs and the Mayans and
that's all. That's us. That's us. That's us. So what I mean, like I said, they might change their tribal name, but at the end of the day, we associate it as Moors because of our skin. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna be here in about 20.
Okay.
With the GPS
up?
So this was just we do it this way. We it's a lot smoother. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't even need to edit this. I'm just uploading it as it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we went in.
Right.
And
at least
I think you
for the most part.
I want you to make it where it yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
keep talking over each other.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like I was just saying, like when we do put this out here in the beginning, I was saying it's a reaction, you know what I'm saying, from competent Moors. Basically, I didn't speak on us being competent. They can hear our conversation and that, but hopefully this will, tug at some strings and get some building going on, because we need more people asserting, and actually being sovereigns, as opposed to at every turn willingly and sometimes, still not educated correctly, people will relinquish some of their jurisdiction or their sovereignty, and find themselves in a situation. Whereas if you really, really want to get out, expatriate, whatever you want to call it, the canon laws is the remedy. They acting belligerent. You go to the site. It's even a set of what's it called? Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. What it's called? It's called the 7 D's of Divine Protest and Dishonor. And this specific document really lays out the fraud, the dishonor, the criminality of the cronyism that's on in the courts, and the so-called officials that's supposed to have been trustees that ultravered their authority and bought yachts and set up trusts with our trust for their children. One heaven puts it out there at every point, and it basically lets us know that the banking industry and the courts work hand in hand to steal, rob, pillage, human traffic, etc. I yield.
Yeah, so therefore, what you just said, to speak on that, is correct, and according to our sacred covenant, which is part and parcel to supreme law of this land, because like I said, there's nothing in there that I actually can frown down on to say that I don't even want to even accept this, just saying that this is the supreme law of this land. If anything, it's respecting for them to be over here. It's respecting the do's and the don'ts and what should be done and what should not be done. It is what it is. Our ancestors had to put something in motion for us because, we probably was lost and going down the wrong path. Now, unfortunately, the Avians was able to get in position and do the things that they did, which is not cool. And, they see where they probably thinking like, man, hold up, man. We got an opportunity to put our hands in the cookie jar. So we gonna do what we gonna do. And that plays a big part from the Bar Association doing what they did and hiring on. So you got, I'm not taking nothing away from the Avians, you know what I'm saying? They derive from us. So they taking advantage of something, that they had an opportunity to take advantage of. Now, unfortunately, my mother and, my greats or whatever had to go through the detrimental bullshit. But my ancestors was giving me their DNA. I'm talking about the ones who was behind the great laws that was written or whatever, this, that, nothing. I feel that I'm very incompetent. I'm sorry. I'm very competent. That was a stupid statement, but I'm very competent about what I'm saying.
I know better. We know.
Huh?
I say we know better.
Oh, yeah, right. That's something Virgo Triad would be like, listen, he said he was incompetent. You know what I'm saying?
Like me posting that video where I was trying to get you on and stuff, and then she go back and share the video to just chew on me about being incompetent. But it's a video with me just trying to figure out the technology. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what I mean, that's neither here nor there, because you know, a lot of times we gotta crawl we gotta crawl before we walk. You feel me?
Right.
But I'd rather have this knowledge and learn about the technology of put somebody on YouTube live than not knowing it at all, but thinking I know something, and be just, you know what I'm saying, you talking with all the ignorance, and you talking about a what you call that word? Oxymoron.
Yeah.
Man, they some oxymorons for real.
For real.
Like, you know what I mean? And I wish Jamar and them would have been more better equipped to be able to speak on what we speaking on right here, because see, they argue the same shit over and over and over and over, and it's gonna always continue to be an argument. Just you gotta beat them, you know what I'm saying, for what it's worth. You like these canons, you can't get around canons. I ain't gonna talk to you about
nothing else. Nothing else. I don't want to talk about nothing else. I know about the Constitution. I know about all of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm studying Canon Law, which I know
Canon Law
make their ass move quickly. Like they don't want nothing.
As soon as you hit, we talk about one of the top officials, you know, in his game, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the alternative society that is supposed to be a trustee for us. As soon as you hit him with that cannon, man, what did he do, man?
Bagged up. Submitted.
Oh, I'm talking about when he was supposed to documents.
Huh?
When he was supposed to file those documents.
When I say it again.
When he was supposed to file those documents.
When he was supposed to file. Oh, you talking about Frank LaRose?
Who? Yeah.
All I did was and it was only the threat of a writ coming. It wasn't even a writ. It was a judicial notice. It was just a notice. That's what you do. Just put them on notice of what you're supposed to be doing. I included the $12 money order to pay you for your services. You know what I'm saying? Just go and do it. That's all you got to do.
That's what you're there for.
I would have consented to a procedure that required wet ink signatures if I would have scanned them and electronically tried to file those papers. You know, but I stood fast, knowing my sovereignty, knowing my authority, knowing some of the laws. I mean, even with you pointing out certain things like the sham legal process, how I was able to use that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is an art. It is an art, man. You gotta be able to, and it is this rendering seizure because they will try to use those same type of statutes and whatever against you. But canon law, we know, I didn't even really have to use that sham legal process, but you know, I did just to show them like it's more than one where we versed, you know. But canon law is the law of the land. Canon law is the law of the land. It's the superior, the supreme, you know. Outside of everything else is as it asserts void, and majority of it was founded on fraud, especially a lot of these. Go ahead.
I even had to push the treaty piece of friendship to the side and let the covenant come through.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. Because the treaty piece of friendship don't give us no remedy.
No, ain't no remedy there.
It only talks about commerce, and it has an article in there talking about the more, if a more do something to a citizen, and vice versa,
Right.
and how it's saying. But what do the treaty, peace, and friendship really have to offer? What do it have to offer?
Not much. I mean, it as
Really?
it standing treaty, that's pertinent. But as far as remedy, we wouldn't have. If we would have sat and just studied that, looking for remedy, man. I mean, I don't even want to think about
Yeah, we do.
it. Done. And you can't
We
go
do.
to none of them Delaware treaties or none of them treaties, because that Delaware treaty is like, turn your head if you see me do something. Basically, that's what I got out of it. It was like, you know.
The only thing I used the Delaware Treaty was to send to you to show you was that, you know, the Lenape Moors,
Right,
and
right.
that they are caught. If that was the whole meat and potatoes of to show that who the Indians are derived, the word Indians derived from. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they said we the only the natives to the land. You know,
Right.
we the only natives to the land. So at the end of the day, you even had Aboriginal in that legislation. I just wanted to show you that they were saying that they're not called Moors no more; they're called Indians. See, and that type of legislation you use as a reference to affirm your argument. You see what I'm saying? And it goes back to, you know what I mean? You know, like, for instance, prime example, this is competency. This is competency. Let me show you what competency. All right, this is an argument of law. And this is competency. This is Article 176 in my canon. I have canon 1813. I don't know what yours might be, and I wish I could show it, but they can just go off. You know, that's why they got to study. Whatever you ain't showing, people got to study, okay? Competence is a fictional concept of being fit, proper, and qualified to produce and argue reason through knowledge and skill of law, logic, and rhetoric against opposing arguments. Therefore, a man or woman cannot claim competence without demonstrated skill at reason, argument, and knowledge, and suitable qualification. Competence may also be used in the context of juridic persons having sufficient authority, qualification within the limits of their statutes. See what I'm saying? So, for instance, what they just said about the juridic person having sufficient authority and qualifications within the limits of their statute. So I will take a statute and I would use a point of reference of what is allowed and what is not allowed. So you know what I'm saying? So you taking from, use the contents of the juridic person having sufficient authority and qualifications within the limits of their statute. Like, for instance, let me go over here. I'm going to pull up something. And we'll go back to it. According to Title 6, which is physical and juridic persons. This is Canons 96 to 123. This is the code of Canon Law and the general forms out of Book 1. And this is the chronicle conditions of physical persons. Okay? And it states that...
Mobile.
Yeah, they there?
Can you see the chat? Oh, no.
I can't see the chat.
All right.
I remember I said, all that I can see is the phone. But you pulled it up?
The chat, yeah. Ain't nobody here. I was just saying we might have to continue.
Okay, cool. That's what's up.
We could,
How you gonna do? How you want to do? You want to take this and let it loose, and then come back and say it's gonna be continued to on another
yeah,
session?
we
Or
gonna
we just
continue
we
this
let this
one.
go?
We gonna continue this either later today or tomorrow. But
Okay,
I'm gonna upload this now, just as it is.
cool, cool.
I'm done
And
with
then
all
we
that editing.
so yeah, right. So what you gonna do? This you gonna push this one out, and then we gonna do another one.
Yeah, we'll do another one, and we
Okay.
ended it at we ended at you on to which cannons? I'm gonna write that.
Uh, this this one we ended it on physical and juridic persons.
Oh yeah, that relationship. They really need to know that
Yeah,
relationship. All right.
yeah. And it go back to the competency.
Okay.
All
Yeah, that's
right.
yeah.
So
We was
for y'all who listening, we signing out right now, and I hope that y'all will get an understanding for all of y'all who still lacking, and think y'all know something. It's a lot for y'all to learn.
correct.
Y'all to learn.
Especially if you haven't
Respectfully
studied
stated.
any canon law.
Okay.
Definitely if you
Most
studied any canon law.
just as you take care of your you time, you know what I'm saying? Get back at me. Just holler whatever you want to do from there.
Right, right. I mean, it's gonna be the fam here, so I might be in and out of Facebook. But as far as like, we won't be able to
I
have no
know.
quiet sitting like this.
Right. It's all good because they get a lot of meat and potatoes off of what we just put down, even though we're going to finish up on, you know what I'm saying, on the second
Right.
video. You know what I'm saying? So you upload this, you know what I'm saying, what's her name? Virgo and him, they can listen.
So,
And,
yeah, we go from
you
there.
know, and I hope the other ones, start studying and stop being stuck in, you know what I'm saying, in just that
Yeah,
one session.
yeah. If you ain't gonna take the building, stay up out of there, and
Stay up out of there. For real.
don't
You
take a
can't go in
court.
there half stepping, man.
You can't take a courtroom and the rest of the building is preoccupied by colonizers.
You know what I mean? And if you gonna come in there, you gotta at least come in there with some type of something that's gonna back you up. Only thing she had in there, man, was something she said she'll more, and a couple of this and a couple of that. She ain't had nothing to back her up. Nothing.
Right.
See, now if she got that glow, but then once, and I don't mean I'm gonna let you go, but once she get through doing what she's doing, and they got her tied in, they don't even know the next. They don't even know the next move. You just said it about 10 minutes ago. They don't even know the next move. They run it up in their courts.
Right.
Jamal do it. All of them do it. They run up in their courts, man. You ain't supposed to go up in their courts. I mean, one time I
Nope.
said something about I had a meeting, and I said something I said something. He laughed. You know what I mean? Okay. He laughing. You run up in their courts. Now you are the court. You supposed to come. You supposed to hit them
Yeah,
and let
I
them know
remember
because
that.
they inferior to you.
I
Huh?
remember that. I remember
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, he laughed out loud. You know, with the emoji. Like okay. I'm saying you keep running in their courts, and then you get people like Triad. She find out information and put him on blast, talking about you still got court pending. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So you
Right.
going in there arguing with them who you are and everything, and the whole time I just read it under public law who they are. You know what I'm saying? That's not That's not what competency just said. And I'm not being funny. I'm just saying that, you know, if you read competency, it says you got to know, you know what I'm saying, your authority within the limits of the juridic person, because we're dealing with the juridic society. So you got to know the ins and outs. And regardless, man, they are part and parcel of this land. You know, they got control over our resources. So we had, you know what I'm saying, it's set up, it's there for us. You know what I
Right.
mean? So we just got to know we just got to know who we are and know how to get it. With all this
Man.
other bull crap, man, well, you ain't gonna get nowhere, man. You just gonna be hanging loose. For real. Be hanging loose. Be like Tulane Bay. Shit. Went up there, put that paperwork up there and shit. They on it the whole time. They came snatch her up for trespassing. But see, if she had Globe Union in there and some other candidates and stuff, they wouldn't be able to do that because now they know that they did wrong. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is, man. So we're signing off, man, and we continue this. But upload it like it is, man. Let people, they get with us on our you know what I'm saying? They got to get with me outside of this. I'm just put a little some out there, but
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. You better know how to read and everything and know how to interpret some shit, because you ain't gonna go nowhere.
Nowhere.
I just thought out a few names, man, to be doing that. For real, man.
And they get something. We watching because and we was seeing who had the answers. And
I seen
not one.
Not one. I seen them, man. They get what you got and tear legs loose, thinking they know what they talking about, doing something, making a move, and be all the way hanging loose, man. All in the way.
Right.
That's why a lot of times I used to hate to give up some information because they take it and then they don't know what they're doing with it. Now I'm trying to clean up your mess because they trying to block me because you did some dumb shit.
Right.
I'm not the same motherfucker who just came in after me. You see my shit is on point, but now they,
I don't even want to say it. I'm gonna just see, man. Cause hopefully later, like if you on it later, we'll finish this. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. You can holler at me after we shut down and you get settled, see whatever you thinking.
Yeah, if you still because I mean it's like you said, this ain't nothing but scratching the surface basically. It's a lot more to go through,
Yeah.
And hopefully this right here get people to next call join us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can ask questions. So yeah, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? They can ask questions.
Right. So peace and love, Mobite. I'll talk to you later.
Peace and love. All right. Peace and love.